Hey gamers, welcome back to another DSP video. As you can guess, we are gonna be reacting to his Crimson Desert bullshit nonsense. It was very funny. I was watching this podcast and it's so funny that yesterday I uploaded that video about finishing the Wings react, and I think I talked a little bit about his Xbox take, right? Like, all about competition and all this stuff. And lo and behold, the next day, or like the same day, whatever, he goes on this rant about Crimson Desert that kind of flies in the face of what he said about Xbox, basically. So we're gonna watch this. It is very funny. Again, I'm just gonna say, like, I don't really have a strong interest in playing Crimson Desert. It says, just stylistically, it's not my kind of game. Whatever, but I'm sure it's a fun game. I'm sure it's fine. Like, I don't think it's as bad as DSP is saying it is. As I said, like, I watched him play it, and he was like, "What? Where's the flags?" And it's like, it was right on the map. By the way, he uploaded an edited video. Sadly, I gave him a click, unfortunately, but whatever. It has Nintendo music in it, by the way. It has the Majora's Mask theme and music, and it's kind of petty. I'll be honest. It is kind of petty, but when he was doing the Lego builds, he was like, "I can't put music from video games. It's gonna get claimed or whatever the fuck." This has nothing to do with Nintendo, and he played Zelda music. So how is that okay? And that can be edited and fine, but he can't, like, play video game music in general. Like, I guess he's gonna argue, what he would argue would be like, well, it's only a little bit. It's not like he's playing throughout the whole video, which is fine. I am curious about something a little bit.
Crimson Desert.
Yeah, dude, it is still playing the Zelda music. This is kind of like nonsense.
The combat is insanely repetitive. You're just going to be murdering waves of enemies, dodging every once in a while, and then murdering more by just holding.
But these edits are kind of like boring and shitty. And what is this?
Shooter that brings in innovative story elements with all.
Oh, he's talking about BioShock. You know, part of me. Oh my god, dude! There's no consistency. There's no. It zooms it. These are weird edits. Yeah. I maybe that's not limits what I think. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think Darziak ever left. I think he's still editing these videos to a degree, or something. Maybe it's not Darziak. But or maybe it's a Darziak and Lumix collab. They're both collabing on this. I don't know what. Every time a wheelchair says that they're gonna leave, they always come back. So I don't really believe Darziak ever left. But whatever. I'm not gonna watch this. We're gonna watch it raw like everyone else. But I do want to keep it open for the comments, which we'll go through later. Shouts out to Hades 2 soundtrack, though. Shouts out.
When Crimson Desert was announced, and all the hype and hoopla around the game and its press and its, productional materials and everything.
I don't recall Crimson Desert having a big, like, press release or, like, hype. Because as I said in all my videos, every time I talk about this game came out of nowhere, in my opinion. Like, I've never heard of this game for, like, at all until, like, 2 weeks before it came out. Like, that's my perception of Crimson Desert. Like, it just came out of nowhere for me. And again, I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. But I don't know where this big, massive hype came from. DSP is... I just think DSP is overhyping it just to kind of prove his point, I guess. Or make a point, I should say.
Everything that hyped the game up before it came out, there was always a big question in mind. And the question was, the more you heard about Crimson Desert, the more you kept hearing about, it has this and it has this. But does that
The more you heard about the game, the more you would hear it has this. Okay, that's very like
mean
general.
that the game's going to have an insane amount of great content, or does it mean it's all going to be crammed in there, but it doesn't have a lot of meaning? For example, when you heard that the game was going to have this kind of combat, but then it was going to have mounts that you can ride, but then it was going to have traverse.
This is okay, this is kind of low-key unfair and just it's like what he does with everything. Oh my god, guys, my day is crazy. I woke up, I got out of bed, I put one foot into the shoe, I put my other foot in the other slipper, then Jasper came, and then Jasper was meowing, then Cat woke up, then Jasper was hissing at me, then he threw up on my shoes, then I had to pick up the shoes, then I had to eat breakfast. Like of course it's gonna sound crazy when you list it like that and not like a normal person. Like every game has mounts and combat and graphics and like it's just like these are nothing statements. Like guys, Mouse PI, I don't know about this game, guys. So they say it's gonna be first person, it's gonna have guns, then it's gonna have enemies, then it's gonna be in black and white, then it's gonna have a story. I don't know, guys. This is too many things.
Reversal, and moving around with these kind of like grappling hook floating mechanic, kind of like Tears of the Kingdom. But then it was gonna have
Grappling hook, yeah, that was my favorite item, the grappling hook. Oh my god, man. Okay.
base building, but then it was gonna have taking on a bunch of enemies, like taking over bases. But then it was gonna have RPG story elements, and then it was gonna have this, and then it was gonna have that. Oh, it has fishing, and it has this. When you hear that a game has so many things,
This is like, it's like DSP goes to a buffet and then he gets paralyzed. He's like, oh my god, too much food. What do I do? Oh my god, there's breakfast there. There's that over there. Oh my god, I don't know what to do. And it's like, dude, like you could just get what you want and experience what you want to experience there. Like I've never seen like, to a degree there is like a excess in games or whatever, and that's like that is like a complaint sometimes in games. Like you can have too much. That is like bad. I mean, that's what some people complain about, like even the Zelda games, like Breath of the Wild, for example, that there's so much in the open world that it left little to be desired for like the main dungeons, and these are like complaints, or that it's so vast they start reusing assets or whatever. The things that DSP is complaining is just it's just kind of generalized, like there's too many things, but like you don't have to do half the things he was doing. I don't know.
things in it, right? You have to wonder, is it gonna be a jack of all trades and a master of none situation? Or will the game feel polished and refined and actually be a good gameplay experience? The fact that they were charging, full price for the game, you had to hope that the game was going to be good. But it's made by Pearl Abyss. This is a company that's made Black Desert, which is a MMO. And so going from MMO to single-player game is a big leap. So when this game came out, I actually cleared my schedule, and I had a marathon.
This is a very convenient lie. Or a white lie, you should say, because he was forced. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. He was forced to change his schedule for the game because it had a weird release timing. So he had to change his schedule for it. Like if it came out like at midnight the day before, whatever, he would have played it normally. But he played it the way he did because the game came out at an odd time. Like this is really stupid to say I did a marathon. You didn't want to do a marathon. It wasn't a marathon. You changed your schedule because of the game's release. That's all that happened, because he never did this to any other game. He never like did a marathon for anything. And why would he do it for this game and not like Resident Evil 9, a franchise he supposedly likes, or anything like that? Like why doesn't he do a marathon for a game he likes, but he did it for a random out of nowhere game? Yeah, because it's not a marathon. He was forced to play it the way he did.
Marathon day of playing it, My intention was to play it like 8+ hours in the first day that it came out to get a good taste of, you know, what it would be so that I could decide if I was going to play it further or not. And if you go back and you look at that original footage from about a month ago from when the game came out, you'll see that I kind of jump into the game with the same kind of judgment that I do with any game. Is it, you know, being fair, giving it a fair...
This is really, like... Because, you know, you would think this would be assumed, right? That he would judge the game fairly. The fact that, like, he is saying, like, yeah, I went in fairly. It's like, okay, why do you have to tell us that? Because, I mean, I think he just knows we're not going to take his criticism seriously, but it's like, what are your criticisms? Why don't you just get to the point?
A fair chance, and immediately I'm blown away by the graphics. The game itself has really good graphics, right? I would argue that its open world is absolutely gorgeous.
Graphics
the
good?
The fact that it has these beautifully animated plants and flora.
Oh my
really
god!
Cool.
Okay. This is a DSP-ism at this point, because he has done this with so many games. Metroid Prime 4. There's another game. I can't think of anything now, but he keeps saying the fauna, the flora, the animals, the this, the variety. Oh my god, guys, the plants were beautiful. And it's like, these are like nothing statements, and like, you know, statements that would get clowned on Twitter. Like, you know the fucking tweets. Oh my god, guys, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima. Look at the grass blade. It's moving like real. Oh my god, dude, the plants and Ratchet and Click. Oh my god, amazing. Guys, I played this other game. When you jump in the water, you don't get wet. Where's the wet animation? Where's the drops? Guys, I just loaded this game. The plants are blocky. And then everyone's gonna say, like, you're what's wrong with gaming. Shut up. like that's what this is. He's talking about, like, Metroid Prime 4 is like a boring game, but I love the fauna. I love the plants. I love flowers. It's like, wow, these are like, who cares? Like sure, in art direction, it's nice to have these set pieces, but like, you're talking about the game, and it's like, you know, you don't have to like focus on that, because he's not talking about the art. Like whatever, right? Whatever.
Cool. Every little turn and twist that you take, you can find something new. A hidden cave, a new settlement, a big castle, a kind of new enemy or something like that. That's really cool. And the fact that it's one of those games where if you see it, you can get to it is also...
The see it and you can get to it thing is stolen from Todd Howard. Because didn't Todd Howard say in, like, I don't want to say it was Fallout. I want to say it was an Elder Scrolls game. If you can see it, you can climb it, or whatever the fuck. I think it... And ever since he said that, DSP has been saying it about every single game he's been playing. Guys, I've been playing Zelda. If you can see it, you can get to it.
Also really neat. You know, you could traverse the top of a high mountain, or you go down into the actual Crimson Desert, and there's all these different climates and things to go to. Again, similar to, say, Tears of the Kingdom. That's probably its strongest point. And also, as the game starts to introduce these new elements to you of combat, of traversal, of puzzle solving, and things like that, the game is very
That is such a strong
as
salving.
The game starts to introduce these new elements to you of combat, of traversal, of puzzle solving, and things like that, the game is very interesting. Eventually, though, you get into what the gameplay loop is going to be, and you're like, this is confusing, because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, or if anything I'm doing is really meaningful. And what I mean by that is, the game...
I hate how he uses meaningful. Like, it's not... Okay, actually, he's gonna explain what he means by that.
The game is literally a sandbox. A giant open world where you could do anything in any order. You could choose to just follow the main storyline, or you could choose to do side faction quests, or you could choose to do nothing and just walk around, fighting generic enemies, exploring, solving puzzles, finding gear, leveling up, and all of that is completely valid. It really is. But for my day one experience, What ended up happening was I played for around 5 hours, and I was actually enjoying myself. And then I said, all right, well, I've explored a lot, but now what I'd like to do is actually try to make progress in the game and figure out exactly what mechanics will be in things such as the combat and stuff like that, because you know that's going to be a huge part of the game, right?
Right.
And so I started doing a side quest where you had to do a takeover of a giant mining camp, and there was...
Okay. Already, we are running into a problem here. He said, okay, I'm done with the with exploring. I want to do, like, I want to see what's going on. So wouldn't you want to do the main story? Like, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like he was like, yeah, then I want to do the main story. No, he went to do a side mission. And the side mission he happened to pick was like this is Ninja Gaiden 4 all over again. Look at Ninja Gaiden 4. He did a optional, like, challenge dungeon with, like, the max difficulty, whatever, because you can, like, adjust the challenge, the bonus challenges, so you can get the max reward or whatever. He did, like, the max or whatever to get the full reward, but it was, like, really hard at the time because he was like, this was the beginning of the game, and he was like, fuck this game is terrible. But you're like, dude, you're playing a bonus section that, like, you can change the difficulty or whatever to suit your, like, level, and then you can always go back to it on another playthrough, whatever. Like, you don't have to get max rewards the entire game. Like, I'm gonna use Demon School as an example because I love the game. Demon School, like, gives you the ability to either, like it encourages you to beat every encounter within the turn limit. Like, they'll give you, like, a 3 turn limit combat section with, like, 20 enemies or whatever. Then, but you have to, like, beat it. You have to kill all the enemies, but you also have to keep your party alive. Like, no one can die, basically. Then you have to be within the turn limit. You get the max reward by doing that if those are all met, which is, like, where the true challenge of Demon School lies. Like, other than that, the game is, like, really easy, but if you just try to do the turn limit and get the max reward, the game can actually be pretty challenging and rewarding. And it actually makes you think about the party you're going in with, the placements, all this stuff. It's, like, really neat. And that's, like, a challenge. You don't have to do that. Like, on my first run of Demon School, like, I was like, I'll try, but I do want to, like, experience the story and kind of, like, keep going. So I kind of just did whatever. The boss fights were actually even harder to try to do within the tournament. I didn't get it at all when I was playing. I was like, damn, how do you do this in, like, this amount of turns? Like, that's just the challenge. And he's, like, going into a side mission, getting body, like, fuck this game. It's like, dude, why don't you just do the main story? He doesn't do the main story that is probably more of, like, in line with what you want to do when you're starting a new game. The side stuff is really just, like, either for you to grind or for you to get more immersed in the game's universe or whatever, right? Like, that's like the main purpose.
There was endless amounts of respawning generic enemies that you had to kill. Once you killed enough, the camp was considered taken over, but there was also a big boss fight that you had to do at the end of this mining camp. So the combat, to be honest with you, early on is quite bad. It's hold either the shoulder of your controller or the trigger of your controller.
I'm glad he's showing us the controller because I'm so dumb. I didn't know what a trigger of a controller is. It is funny. The one every time I would watch Tevin restream him playing Crimson Desert, I kept hearing, "Where's the wrestling moves you unlocked? Why didn't he use them?" And it's like, yeah, the game literally needs to, like, tell him what to do. Use your wrestling move right now.
To do various auto combos. The auto combo kills an enemy. When you kill an enemy, you regenerate stamina, which allows you to turn to another enemy and do an auto combo on them. Every once in a while, if you're getting mobbed, you press the dodge button to get out of the way of the enemies. And if you have good timing, you can actually parry the enemies by tapping your shield button with the right timing, which then will let you get, like, a counter hit combo. And that's the combat of the game against normal enemies. Now, are there special moves? Sure. You can do a palm strike that knocks back enemies and stuns them.
So what's bad about the combat?
Punch from the air that knocks back a bunch of enemies. There's a dashing stab. But in reality, the combat is insanely repetitive. You're just going to be murdering waves of enemies, dodging every once in a while, and then murdering more by just holding down these buttons. You don't even have to tap them to do like a combo with any kind of timing or skill. You just hold buttons, okay? So it's not rewarding. It's not fun. It's not interesting. It's actually very boring, okay? Now, on the flip side of that, when you actually encounter a boss in this game, the combat completely changes because every single boss in this game has super armor, which means you can't just be holding down the triggers or the shoulder to do auto combos because they're going to hit you through it, okay?
Okay, so...
Now, in regards...
Which kind of tells me you don't need to do the auto combo then. Because if the boss fight's like, you can't, like, it kind of stops you from doing that, that kind of means that... That's telling me you don't need to hold the button. It's like kind of like I was gonna try to make a comparison to a car, but it's just like you don't need to do it then, right? I mean, because I don't want to use because some automatics come with like a fake standard feature, but which is like it's not the same. Like that is truly like. We don't need that part of the car. It really is just there for people who really like changing shifts, but you can't replace an actual stick shift. You just can't simulate that in an automatic car. Cars should not try that. I was trying to do that, but it's like, yeah, it just wouldn't hit the same.
To fighting bosses, there's a couple different ways that you can go about defeating the bosses in the game, okay? You can either go the puzzle solving route, or you can go the brute force route. What does that mean? Well, when you fight a boss in this game, every boss is a little bit different. For example, there's bosses that are giant brutes who basically absorb all hits and can hit you for ginormous damage. Or there's bosses who may have special abilities where they like teleport around, and every once in a while you have to find the opening to try to hit them, or maybe you have to try to parry or counter them so that you can actually strike back. So it is doable that you could learn a boss pattern and actually beat the boss. However, the bosses usually end up either being way over-leveled or under-leveled for you. Meaning, when you get to that first story boss, as long as you've been playing the game and, you know, collecting armor and leveling it up at blacksmiths and things like that, chances are the first story boss is a pushover. But then if you go to the first optional fight in the game, which would be the boss at that mining camp that I mentioned, he's insanely strong and can kill you with 2 hits.
This is like you play SMT5, and SMT5 has these bigger enemies that are like super high level. I think in the first area, the like giant rock demon is like level 45. And yeah, like the boss fight after that's, I mean, SMT is a little bit different, but you know, the boss fights, the main story boss fights can be pretty easy if you're just playing it like a normal RPG. But you're not gonna go. But it's like going to the big rock monster in SMT5 and be like, "Wow, what the fuck? The story boss was easy, and this is hard." And it's like, yeah, like the side missions are meant to always be there. You can always go back to like that boss fight being hard. It's like, okay, well, this is pretty hard for me right now. I'll just do the story stuff. Come back like later if I really need the experience, and I can just do this or whatever. And like. It really is like this guy never played a video game before that gave you these options.
So there's no real pacing or balance to the game. It's just kind of like, well, when you encounter a boss, hope that you've played long enough to level up your gear and stats so that you can beat it. And if not, well, if you can learn the one strategy to beat the boss, that's like solving a puzzle, good for you. And if not, well, leave, go play for another.
I love he says it's like solving a puzzle. Notice that every fight he hates, he always says is a puzzle boss. Like, it's not a puzzle boss if you're just, like, learning a pattern or whatever. A puzzle boss, like, to me, would be like, you're not supposed to hit the boss. You're supposed to, like, do something else that's gonna hit the boss. Like, that is a puzzle boss to me. Like, where you're not engaging with the actual enemy. You're doing something else to hit the enemy. Like, that, to me, is a puzzle boss. But whatever.
For another 10 to 15 hours grinding and getting items and leveling up, and then come back and just overpower the boss because now you're way more stronger than he is. So that's the way you go about boss combat. And I hate to say it, it's just not satisfying in any way. Like, when you play a game that has a tough boss, what you want to be able to do is on the fly, learn the pattern of the boss, counter the pattern of the boss, overcome, win, and then it feels rewarding.
But he just said you can do that in the game, though. He just said that, didn't he?
Be the boss at that mining camp that I mentioned, he's insanely strong and can kill you with 2 hits. So there's no real pacing or balance to the game. It's just kind of like, well, when you encounter a boss, hope that you've played long enough to level up your gear and stats so that you can beat it. And if not, well, if you can learn the one strategy to beat the boss, that's like solving a puzzle, good for you. And if not, well, leave.
It's like solving a puzzle. Like, that's kind of... What does that mean? Oh, yeah, I guess, like, raising the sword to blind him, that's a puzzle. Like, that's just using a mechanic of the game, and then you're going in and like, hitting him. Like, I mean, this isn't really solving a puzzle.
Play for combat. And I hate to say it, it's just not satisfying in any way. Like, when you play a game that has a tough boss, what you want to be able to do is on the fly, learn the pattern of the boss, counter the pattern of the boss, overcome, win, and then it feels rewarding. That's exactly the pattern that FromSoft games use. And not to say that every FromSoft game is the same, because you got...
I like he says that, like, oh, this is the pattern FromSoft used. Isn't, like, overcoming a boss, being challenged, isn't that, like, the most basic form of game design? Like, I'm sure you play Mario Brothers 1 and there's and it's like you're overcoming Bowser or Mario 64 or whatever. Like, this is like not really like a FromSoft design philosophy.
Because you got a game like Dark Souls, which plays very different than, say, a game like Bloodborne with parrying, which is very different than, say, Sekiro with the timed blocks. They're all a little different, but the idea is
he calls Sekiro a one-trick pony.
Learn the pattern, overcome, persevere. You can't really do that in Crimson Desert because everything is just a puzzle you need to solve once, and once you've solved that puzzle, you can beat it. For example, this first optional boss I fought, there's 2 ways to beat him. That's puzzle solving, either using the palm strike over and over to stun him and then get like a finisher on him, or if you use your sword, you can shine light in his face and he gets stunned and you can go do a combo on him. But that's it. Like, that's all you do to beat him. You don't
that's
actually
not really a
learn
puzzle.
Patterns or whatever. You just keep using the same tactic over and over, and then you overwhelm.
But this is like, but that's part of the strategy of the game. Like, that's not really like an arbitrary thing. You're using the systems in the game to fight. Like, when you're fighting people in real life, wouldn't you want to blind them so you can like attack them? Like, that's how a fight goes usually. Like, this is really stupid.
Overwhelm him and you're done. Or you could overlevel yourself and just bully him. To me, that's not rewarding. To me, that's like, okay, so the game didn't take the time to program in a good combat engine, and instead they gave you 2 different ways to kind of, you know, flub your way through it.
But you could see this with any game. Like, oh yeah, I played Elden Ring, and it's kind of stupid and unbalanced because they want me, so I can't fight the tree sentinel until I get the actual weapons. That's stupid. Why do I want to play a game where I have to do that? I mean, you can kind of reduce every game like that, honestly, if you really want to. But I don't know the game balance of Crimson Desert, but it just I just think this is just he didn't like the way the game played and how it's played or whatever, which it's fine, I guess. But this review it kind of goes places
through it, but either way, you're just kind of flubbing your way through it, and you didn't really learn anything, and therefore, when you beat a boss in this game, it never feels satisfying whatsoever, and that's kind of the problem. So, as I was playing Crimson Desert, and I encountered this, and I realized this is what it was going to be, I got disappointed, because the open world is gorgeous, the graphics are great, there's a great puzzles and interesting levels of discovery, but once you get to the combat is by far the absolute major shortcoming of the game. So if that's the case, why are there so many people who are saying they love Crimson Desert?
So get a load of this. See, now this is what I don't understand when he does these reviews. Like, it's with everything. He always takes the public's opinion into consideration. what about your opinion? Like, he could have just ended it there, and he's like, so why do people like it? I know a lot of people like different things. There are people who love Marvel movies. There's people who love all these other things. Like, everyone has different opinions and perspectives on what they like. And he's just saying, like, a lot of people like this game. Like, okay, a lot of people like Call of Duty as well. Like, I don't like. What do you want? Like, why is this a problem? Why does he have to talk about this?
Crimson Desert, right? That Crimson Desert is like game of the year contender, and oh my god, it's the best game in a
Oh my god, the fucking, oh, I gotta crack my knuckles. Yeah, I mean, dude, like, I said Demon School would have been my game of the year if it wasn't for Hades 2. I'm just gonna say, I don't think a lot of people would agree with me on that one. But there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna say, oh, this game is game of the year material or a contender. That's just an opinion. People say this all the time with any game they enjoy a lot. Like, I haven't seen anyone say that. At least in my like feed, I've not seen people say this is game of the year contender. Like, and if they did say that, they may just be saying that because it's still early on in the year. Like, people are already saying that about Pragmata. People said that about Resident Evil 9. People said that about like all kinds of games. Like, it's really weird to be hung up on this, in my opinion.
100 years. Here's what
Wait, what?
Crimson Desert, right? That Crimson Desert is like game of the year contender, and oh my god, it's the best game in 100 years. Here's what I think is going on.
That part, but whatever. Okay,
and
this
you
is what
can disagree, and that's totally fine if you do.
Oh my god, so I'm just gonna spoil a little bit of the daily wrap, because I was watching as I was setting up this video. Not thinking I was gonna watch it. There is a section in the daily rep that's worth watching. I'm just gonna say that. I didn't watch it all the way, but the more I heard, I was like, I'm just gonna stop here and I'll watch the rest in this video. So get a load of this. Sit down for this one, guys.
But in my opinion, in my 18 years as a content creator on the internet, I have kind of a unique perspective coming into this situation.
I mean, that's one way to look at it.
So I've been making gameplay videos of video games since 2008.
Whoa, all right? Okay,
and I can distinctly tell you that there have been two different kind of time periods that I've been making content. There's the first 8 years, from 2008 to roughly around 2016-ish.
By the way, I'm just gonna mention, like, just talk about this, right? Gaming has been around for like years, right? Like in the 90s, 80s, 90s, whatever. NES, Nintendo 64, SNES, or whatever. Like, gaming's been around for a long time. And this dude is only focusing on the gaming eras that he was making content for. Now, of course, you can argue, well, Theo, he only played, like, fighting games. He didn't play a lot of games at the time, which I think is kind of bullshit, because, first off, dude, this dude, like, fuck is like, oh my god, I love Chrono Trigger. Link to the Past is amazing. All these other fucking boomer-ass games. He, like, sits there and is, like, fucking jerking off. He talks about, like, old-ass games all the time and how much he loves them. And when he's talking about this, he can't be bothered to even talk about those games or the games he played. He's only focusing on the games when he was, like, making content. Yeah, this dude is a fake gamer. Fake gamer alert. Like, I love that. This dude has been playing games for a long time, but he doesn't consider Street Fighter a video game, I guess. Because, like, he's like, yeah, well, I didn't play a lot of games. I was very isolated, and I played, like, Street Fighter. I mean, that's a video game, dude. Like, that is a game. But he has played, like, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, Mario, and this dude will look you in the eye and say, I never played video games growing up. I played a lot of Street Fighter. Like, that may be true for, like, the PS2 era, but, I mean, come on. Come on. Like, come on. And like you still have a better idea of what gaming was like in the 90s and 80s. And because even in the 2000s with GameCube and PS2, like not a lot has changed in the sense that people were making games that were like more games, right? Like, oh yeah, just do level 1, level 2, whatever. Like this is before like it became like uh a movie style game, whatever. Like Metal Gear Solid was really the only game at that point that was like that. And this dude was like, yeah, man. So when I had a unique era. No, if anything, I have more of a unique take than he does, and he's older than me, and he was around like the Atari. I never played the Atari. My first console was the N64.
And then there's been the last decade of 2016 to 2026. And I can tell you definitively and without hesitation, my first 8 years as a creator, video games that were coming out were constantly innovating, constantly of high quality. They were breaking ground.
This is like complete marketing bullshit. 2008. I don't think a lot of games were innovating at that time. Like, you know, sure, narratively and all that stuff, there's like cool stuff that happened, but I don't know if I would even say that because there were still people complaining, oh, all the games have the yellow piss filter on it. Oh, these games are all shooters. Like, there were a lot of shooters at that time. Like, I wouldn't say games were innovating as much. I think the true innovation was like the GameCube era, the GameCube PS2 period. The Wii was innovative because it kind of forced games to like kind of like reckon with the Wii remote, but uh it just was a little different. And all that, but I wouldn't say that gaming was that innovative because like really what more could a game do other than like make pretty graphics?
They were culturally relevant, first time, breathtaking experiences that
Like
were
what?
meaningful.
Like
And
like like what? Like and I hate that he says this when go back to when Tears of the Kingdom was announced. Just go back and see his reaction to it. Oh my god, I don't want Minecraft, Fortnite, and Zelda. I don't want this. I don't want this. And it's like this is but that's like what innovating is. It's changing something that was again moving the franchise forward and all this dumb shit. Like that's what Tears of the Kingdom did, and this dude bitched and whined about it, and was mocked for it. And I don't think he even liked the game all that much. And he said that it was superfluous to have all this crafting. I don't want to do this, whatever. Like he didn't even want to engage with it on a meaningful, creative level. He did not care for Mario Maker 2. He did make Mario levels in Mario Maker 1 because he LARPed as a guy who loved making Mario levels. He even stole Miyamoto's or whatever whole E3 press conference where they were saying, yeah, when we made Mario games, we used graph paper and we would design this. DSP would then say, whoa, man, Mario Maker looks so cool. Guys, I remember when I was a kid, I would get graph paper and I would make my own Mario levels. It was so cool. And it's like, yeah, sure, buddy, sure, sure, you thought that. And then Mario Maker 2 came. I don't want to make Mario levels. I don't want to do that. I'm not a game maker. And it's like he doesn't want to engage when a game does something different or unique, and he shits on it. When a game like look at Street Fighter 6. I mean, to a degree, that game has innovated and changed how fighting games work, and he hates it. I mean, a lot of people don't like a lot of modern fighters, but that's a whole other topic. But I mean, Zelda is the most like straightforward example. Uh, and same with Mario Kart World. Like that did change how Mario Kart is made, and like sure, there's issues with it, but I think the idea is at least interesting, and DSP just hates the idea of Mario Kart World basically.
And what I mean by that is I couldn't tell you how many times that there was a bold new move that a franchise was being created, and it was something different. Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. did anyone even say this game was innovative? People were just like, "Oh, this game is cool. You could actually like ally yourself." But that was stuff that was in other games before. Like there were more morality systems in games that were on PC years ago. Like this isn't really innovative. It was just cool in the sense of that it gave you more options. Like, sure, that is innovative because they gave you more options in dialogue and all this other stuff, but like nobody was saying, "Oh my god, they reinvented the wheel with this one." Like I feel like he's like he's kind of like overestimating or exaggerating what innovating is.
Attempting to take sci-fi, like almost like Star Trek-esque game lore, and turning it into an action.
What?
And it was something different. Mass Effect, attempting to take sci-fi, like almost like Star Trek-esque game lore, and
Star Trek-esque game lore. What? They were trying to story lore, whatever. But this, as I said for like a lot of times with him, he's a little baby. If you dangle keys in front of him, that's meaningful content to him. Because he's kind of just saying that he liked Mass Effect because it's in space. Dude, Star Wars was in space. Like, that's kind of what he's like looking at. It's like if I start praising Deadly Premonition just because it reminds me of Twin Peaks, which he has done. He praised Deadly Premonition for that, and same with Persona 4. Like, like same with Life is Strange. He loves like the supernatural like spectacle. Whoa, you can rewind time in Life is Strange. Whoa. Everything else was like superfluous to that. It was just time travel and murder mystery. Like that, those were the two things he loved about Life is Strange. The characters couldn't care. He couldn't care less. Fuck Max. Max, whatever. Oh, Max and Chloe, okay, whatever. Shut up. Whoa, going back in time. Like that's kind of like what he loved about Life is Strange. That's why he plays them. Like it's not really a mystery to me why he likes Life is Strange. Because if you just listen to how he talks about it and listen to the ones he doesn't like Before the Storm, which I'm sure a lot of people didn't like this game for other reasons, but DSP didn't like it because it didn't have any abilities. There was nothing going on. Like, oh my god, you're playing just normal as Chloe. Oh wow. Like he didn't care at all about like the story as much. Didn't care. He was like, I just want to rewind time. Life is Strange 2, he just kind of like realized that it was getting political, and he was like, what? Huh? And then like the most recent one, he was like, whoa, Marvel stories, whoa! And then he just kind of like tolerated the woke politics in it or whatever. But he always liked it for the spectacle. This dude is such a fucking little piggy. He just loves little like flair. You put a nice if you dress a pig in a nice enough outfit, DSP would love it. DSP would clap.
And turning it into an action-based RPG with dialogue choices that matter and actually affect the outcome of the game. Uncharted, attempting to actually make a franchise that
aspect of Mass Effect was in SMT. Like I don't know about 1 or 2, but I know SMT3 has. I mean, I'm assuming it's in all of them because I mean, but SMT3 has a whole like plot designed around like your own choices, even like not even just with dialogue. And these people would know that if you played a good game. But no, of course not. Mass Effect was the game that's like, whoa, you're just inventing new ground.
That feels like interactive Indiana Jones, okay?
Uncharted. I want to hear this again. I got talked over this.
Matter and actually affect the outcome of the game. Uncharted, attempting to actually make a franchise that feels like interactive Indiana Jones.
I mean, I guess you could say that, but here's the thing: Tomb Raider existed before. clearly we're just ignoring Tomb Raider because sorry women, it's a man's world out there. So clearly, Uncharted matters because Drake's a man in DSP's mind. Bleh. But it like Tomb Raider existed before Uncharted. We're just gonna ignore that. Okay.
Okay. I could keep going. BioShock, right? A first-person shooter that brings in innovative story elements.
But guess what? When Bioshock came out, guess what I heard a lot about when that game came out? Dude, it's like System Shock. You know, a game that came out before Bioshock. Like, these are like nothing innovations and just reinterpretations or just another version of something that you've already seen. Like, there wasn't a level of fatigue, arguably, because these were like first time for franchises. Like, and it's kind of interesting when you listen to this. Look at what he's like mentioning. Games that started a franchise. Not the actual game itself. He's like, whoa, Uncharted, because it's Uncharted 1 that led to Uncharted 2, 3, and 4. BioShock, you know, that also got sequels or whatever. But he's not looking at actual games that innovated. And again, we are not like acknowledging indie games because that they're not the same. They don't get the same like vision as AAA slop that he loves so much.
Elements with awesome graphics and gameplay, really unique experiences, okay? And at this era, this first 8 years that I was a creator, it was like hit after hit, banger after banger, and there were big AAA studios that you could always rely on, that when they pumped out...
Look how much of a drone this dude is. Like, this dude was being carried so hard by AAA, he just was like, he was just a sheep. Like, hey man, they always make good games, I can rely on them. And it's like, you're relying on Ubisoft, Activision, and EA. Like, even in 2008, nobody liked these companies as much. Like, they were just, it was just kind of like, yeah, they make some good games, whatever, but fuck these companies, whatever. Like sure, you could argue the amount of animosity that surrounded these companies were not at the extent as it is today, but don't forget, these companies also utilize online passes, day one season passes, and all this other DLC bullshit at the time. Like, they were nickel and diming a lot at that time, and they still kind of are. I mean, it only got worse to be honest. But he's also kind of ignoring just kind of like where game development has become, where the R&D into making these games have ballooned a lot because they have to keep up with graphics and this and that. And look how DSP reacts to a game that tries to be stylistically like stylized visually. He hates it. He always mocks it in some way. Like, that's what he complained about. Like, he shits on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet all the time. Like, oh, these, like, sure, they run terribly on the Switch and all this stuff. Like, you know, we don't have to sit there and say that and defend it. But I think it's a little unfair to ignore that there are people who are willing to just deal with bad performance if the game is good enough for them. Like, my brother loves Pokemon, and he doesn't care about he doesn't care about the performance, he doesn't care about the frame rate, he doesn't care about this shit. He's like, I just want to play Pokemon. I don't care. And these Pokemon games gave him that, and he doesn't care about that. There are just enough people that don't care. You can criticize all you want. That's not to say that these people are right or wrong, but you know, a lot of people have different priorities when they buy a game. And DSP has this weird notion, not weird, I guess, but that everything needs to be going on all cylinders. Like, that's not realistic. And it's like the same thing I feel about the current discourse about Invincible. Because, yeah, I agree that Invincible should have better animation and all this stuff, but you know, you're either gonna have to accept that a 3-year or whatever time frame for each season, or we're just gonna have to crunch the artists into pace, which I'd argue is already happening in my opinion, because there's no way you could get like a season out this quickly without crunching the animators, and they've already stated that they've been understaffed for a lot of the times. Like, it's just clearly they didn't want to put the money into that. They are putting most of the money behind the vocal talents, honestly. And I do think that, like, you're gonna have to, like, really look at stuff in more of an, like, you're either gonna have to either want these studios to put more money into this and be more, like, reasonable with the budget. Like, think of, like, really going to Invincible with this idea of, like, do we really need to hire, like, Aaron Paul? Should we really be chasing after Bryan Cranston to be in the show when that money could just simply go to animating the show, hiring more people to animate it, or whatever? Like, maybe the problem isn't the animators. Maybe all we just need is to hire more people. Like, all this stuff, and that's why you have these games that come out with, like, lackluster launches, is because sometimes the budget is just mishandled on a corporate level sometimes.
Pumped out a new iteration of a game, whether it was a new IP or a brand new spanking sequel to the game that you loved from a year or two ago, it was always good. You could say, hey, I feel good investing my money in this game because I'm going to get a great experience. But what's happened is times have changed. And after that 8-year, almost like gaming renaissance period, what happened was games started to try to follow formulas in order to print money. And what I mean by that is you got to look at games like Grand Theft Auto Online. You got to look at games like Fortnite. You got to look at games.
But here's the thing. Like, he's saying this, this is what happens when you listen to gamers. I mean, I'm not going to say it's all gamers. Not every gamer wants trend-chasing IPs, obviously. But when you see gamers, like, play a lot of Arc Raiders or whatever, like, the developers are going to say, well, this is what gamers want. They clearly want extraction shooters because they're playing a lot of Arc Raiders, and they keep talking about this game. That's what they want. Like, Halo just said that they're going to drop Battle Royale because they think that people want more extraction shooters, and that's what they're going to focus on. And it's like, they're doing that because they think that there's a market there, because they're looking at, like, what is being talked about. People are still talking about Marathon. People are still talking about Arc Raiders to a degree. Like, these games have a presence, in out there, and they're not understanding that their own, like, IP has its own voice, and they're just like, no, we should chase this because this is what we want, and Halo should go to what the gamers want. Like, that's what's going on. That's what's going on here.
Games where they became culturally relevant, not necessarily because the games were groundbreaking or great, but simply because everyone was playing them. Does that make sense?
Wait, what?
Not necessarily because
I want to hear this again.
You got to look at games like Grand Theft Auto Online. You got to look at games like Fortnite. You got to look at games where they became culturally relevant, not necessarily because the games were groundbreaking or great, but simply because everyone was playing them.
This is so dumb. He is so fixated on things are popular for the sake of being popular. This is a more fancy way of saying that, and it doesn't make any sense because Fortnite is a game formula that it adopted Battle Royale, like, years ago or whatever. And a lot of people like that formula, and they played it, and it was fun, whatever. Because people like playing multiplayer games. Like he keeps talking as if multiplayer is like a fad. It's really weird when you really boil it down to every time he talks about any game that's a multiplayer aspect or is multiplayer only, he thinks it's a fad. And I can't help but think that part of it is because there was a period of time, like, remember MAG? Remember that game? Where these games were purely, like, multiplayer only with no solo single player option. It was pure multiplayer. And sure, that was seen as gimmicky, but I think people also understood that this could be a game. Like, they could just make a game, because, like, look at Call of Duty. How many people, like, sat there and was, like, talking about the single player when they were only playing the multiplayer, right? Like, same thing with Street Fighter, same thing with fighting games. Like, it's very clear that the multiplayer is the bigger aspect of those games. Yeah, they have arcade modes and all this other stuff, but you could definitely argue that there could just be games that it can be sold that only have multiplayer. So to say that, it's very easy to fall in the pitfall like DSP, where there are some people I do think that they saw it as a fad because you had games like Mag, and those games shut down. So clearly, it's like, it's the same in the live service games and how that's seen in the public eye. But inherently, multiplayer games can actually work and be successful. I don't think people are playing Fortnite because it's popular or whatever. It's a fun game. Like I have played Fortnite a few times, and it's actually pretty fun. I do kind of like enjoy the gameplay of it, but it's not my favorite game out there or anything. But people play because they love multiplayer games. Like at the end of the day, like he really is looking at through the perspective of like uh as I said in the last video, like I'm just gonna say hardcore gamers just to save us time and effort. Like the hardcore gamer that plays a lot of games that are like all interesting, like Killer 7, whatever. Yeah, they're not gonna necessarily care about games like Fortnite, but video games are like a very wide, accessible medium that ranges everybody. Like that's what's going on here.
Does that make sense? GTA Online doesn't really innovate that much. There were already games before GTA Online that did.
Not every game, and that's the other thing. Not every game needs to be innovative to be good or fun. Like, this is what's like kind of defeatist or whatever. Because if you start looking for games that are constantly innovating, you're gonna eventually run into a wall where it's like everything's either has been done before or you just simply can't do it. Like, simply, you just can't do it. Look at PT. Look how he raged when he was playing PT. And a lot of people are I've talked to a few people about who didn't like PT, and they were like saying like some of the puzzles they feel are not intuitive with the game. Like, you're not gonna naturally think about going to the pause screen and zoom in on like a pause menu or whatever. Like, it's just there's nothing in this game that would make you want to even try that. I didn't think about that as much. It's like I guess I kind of see that, but the innovative part would probably just be thinking like so unconventionally. But you can't expect everyone to do that, and how far can that really go? And does it need to do that? I do think like as much as I love David Lynch movies and David Lynch as a director, like I said that I would say this to everyone. And I talk about this. I would David Lynch is a director I would give unlimited power to. Let him do whatever, he earned it. Like this dude, I love what this guy does. He has a very good vision and I trust him. But I would not give that same ability to Kojima, for example, or anyone else. Because it's like it's not gonna necessarily work, and I wouldn't want everybody to do that. Like, just because I love David Lynch that much, I don't want someone else to be like, okay, guys, I'm gonna try to do a very David Lynchian thing, because then it's just not interesting. Like, how many, look at the boom of the PT clones. It happened with Resident Evil 7, and it's just kind of like, I was going back to Resident Evil 7 after 9 a little bit, and it's like, yeah, I appreciate 7 for what it did, in the sense of like after 6, like this kind of helped ground Resident Evil back, but I do not want Resident Evil to keep doing this, and that's kind of what I liked about 8. It kind of focused more on Resident Evil 4 a little bit more, and then 9 I think was a little bit more my speed. But I did not like 7 at first, because I just didn't like the obvious PT nods were just like, yeah, I don't care for this. Like, oh wow, a rotary phone. Like, it's just stuff that's like very and it just doesn't feel Resident Evil. Like, even going back to it, because when you go back to Resident Evil 7, it is a very silly game that becomes more and more like bizarre the further like we move away from it. Like, I do think people are gonna either they're gonna look at it as like its own game, to the point where it's gonna be so divorced from Resident Evil that nobody's gonna really think about it. Like, that's just what I mean when I say like I wouldn't want like this chase of never-ending innovation. You have innovative things like David Lynch, PT, or whatever, but then when you have other games that are trying to chase that innovation and try to do something similar to it, it just becomes more of a knockoff or a parody, and it just kind of takes away from a potential vision that could have been good or something interesting, right? Like, it's hard because art is not something that you can just like click with, right? You have to like keep working on it, or it just has to stand on its own. Like, sometimes you don't need to do that. And GTA Online does not need to innovate because it's an online spin-off of GTA 5. Like, why it didn't need to innovate for that? Because it's not trying to do that. Like, not every game needs to innovate.
That did very similar things. And there's tons of games that tried to copy that virtual community social experience after as well. But GTA Online has been the game over the last, at this point, almost 15 years, right? That has been the money printer for Rockstar. People keep going in, playing with their friends, buying the virtual currency, buying the virtual items in the game, spending so much, it single-handedly kept the company afloat for over a decade. And everyone else wanted to be a piece of that pie. They wanted to get that taste of the money train.
Like, again, he is focusing a lot on the live service, online aspect of it, which, again, is not inherently bad, but he's not acknowledging that half the reason why game development is, like, so expensive, they can't take a lot of risks anymore, or whatever, is this endless chase for realism. Like, this is why I've said, like, Nintendo games are, like, in a class of its own, because with this underpowered device, developers are more required to either find a different style or find more creative ways, which is also why I do think that it is a little interesting that with these ports of like Resident Evil 7 through 9 and Pragmata being on Switch 2, like, they may not run very well and they may not be the definitive way to play these games, but man, I will say it's kind of cool that they got them on that. It's the same way I feel about Guilty Gear on Switch. It's not a good port, and it's like in a weird place right now because it still doesn't have the 2.0 update. So I don't know what's going on. I don't even know if they have Lucy. Do they even get that patch? Do they get the Lucy patch? I don't know. I don't even know. And it can't crossplay with the consoles. Like, it is like kind of like the forgotten version of Strive. Like, if you don't like the 2.0 update, just buy the Switch version. and that's what it is. That's what it is now.
Okay? Take a look at Fortnite, a game that wasn't even supposed to be a battle royale game. It was supposed to be a tower defense zombie game. But they decided last minute, Epic Games that is, to change the formula to be something that bandwagoned on another genre that was already popular. And because they added in a cartoony look...
But this is the thing, though. This is like... what makes it ironic, what he did the other day, right? Because he was talking about how competition breeds innovation. But look at the competition. All the stuff he's listing as negatives were all because of competition. Like, Epic changed Fortnite because they saw the competition and they wanted to chase that. Like, that's what competition leads to. Sure, there are instances where purely competition led to actual innovation with companies, or they knew what not to do, whatever. But there's also a lot of instances where competition led to just people wanting to do what the competition did and try to do it better. Like, oh, they did Battle Royale, well, we can do Battle Royale, but better, instead of like trying to do something else. Like, that's what happens. Like, you know, that's part of the risk with it, which is why it's like, you know, I kind of like think it's interesting that now like, it was a small little bit of discourse that people were starting to notice a lot of animators among different studios are actually very collaborative with each other. They share their own tricks. They inspire each other. They're not trying to compete. They're not trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna try and make a movie better than this guy. It's more like, oh, that guy did something cool. I want to do something cool too. Oh my god, I'm gonna do this, and and then they're gonna like it. That's why you see like shows like pull homages from other things, like Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. There's like a fight scene that like directly paints an homage to Gurren Lagann, and it's like, yeah, because they probably saw that and was like, this is really cool. Oh my god, like this is like sick. I want to do something like that or whatever. So they do stuff like that sometimes. Like it's just pure love of like and collaboration. That's why it's like I think it's more interesting when you see things more as a collaborative effort and more of like of that than, yeah, you gotta beat the competition. Like, you know, you don't need that aspect to get more unique aspects and stuff at all.
Crafting mechanics and ended up getting licensing for all the big IPs out there. It became the most culturally relevant game ever, right? Fortnite is mainstream in a way that no other game has even been mainstream besides maybe Minecraft before it, and it's so profitable.
But the thing is, you know, again, we're ignoring history here because guess who did crossovers? Soul Calibur. Guys, remember Darth Vader? Like, these collabs with IPs have been around for a while. Like, it's more evident in Fortnite because it's more of a money maker than anything else because it has like it's on every device ever. Maybe you know, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
So what ended up happening is, in the last decade, gamers did not get as many memorable gaming experiences as they used to. Even franchises that were tried and true hits, like I just mentioned, Mass Effect, ended up coming out with games like Mass Effect Andromeda that were watered-down versions of their former selves that tanked. Or hell, take a look at the recent Dragon Age Veilguard, a tried-and-true series that every game had been a hit up to then, and then this one flopped.
No one liked Inquisition.
So that's what's happening.
I thought people hated Inquisition. I remember someone like gave me that game because they didn't like it, and then they told me, yeah, just break the disc. Fuck that game. And I'm like, oh, okay. I broke it for the lols. It was not. I didn't really enjoy the game that much anyway. But the guy literally told me he didn't care for this game. You can break it. Fuck this game. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
All of these big games that have been coming out recently end up being underwhelming, end up being either going in a direction people don't want because of its narrative or political reasons and agendas, right? Like culture war stuff.
Culture war stuff?
They're just not very good anymore.
But the culture war stuff is like, honestly, the culture war stuff is like, not directly from the game. Like, the culture war stuff is just from people, from discourse. That's the culture war stuff, not the game. You're blaming the wrong thing, dude.
It seems like these big companies that used to always pump out the great experiences are a shadow of their former selves. Maybe the good employees have moved on or whatever. So when you no longer have that big, trusted amount of companies making great games, other people step up to the plate. And it's actually in the last few years, it's been indie companies.
The last few years. Again, this is the same bullshit that people are dogging on people who are acting as if there's been no other turn-based RPG since Expedition 33. Like, this dude was like he's doing the same shit. He did the same thing with Expedition, where it's like, yeah, there's been no other game, and it's like, yeah, there's all these games that have been around for years that you just don't touch, like, at all. Like, he's acting as if like indie games like never existed before the PS4. It's like they've always been around. You just don't look at them because you didn't care about them. Like, shut up.
That have actually stood up and started to hit it on all cylinders, right? Smaller scale indie games that have really blown it out of the water, right? Companies like making Silksong, or former devs who used to work for Ubisoft leave the company and then they go and make a big, humongous, successful game like Expedition 33. So the biggest games are not coming out of the big tried and true studios anymore. And so when you hear, oh, this company that made Black Desert, an MMO, they're going to make a single-player game, and look, it has all these elements of a game that you would want from a AAA studio, you're like, oh, I'm intrigued. Is this going to be good or not, right? And here's the thing.
But wouldn't that be the same? But can you say the same thing about Expedition 33? Oh, it's going to have these other things from other games. Like, whatever.
So many games today, you invest time and money in, and they end up being underwhelming. They end up being, it's all right, experiences. Well, I think what happened with Crimson Desert is you've got a game that, yes, you play full price, but you're going to get so much content. overwhelming amounts of content in the game.
Remember, this dude always bitched and moaned about games not having content. It needs more content. Okay, here's more content. This is too much content. I mean, obviously, like, it's always moderation, but maybe just don't, like, fucking, like, be a baby.
That never do you really realize that anything you're doing in the game is very meaningful. And what I mean by that is, compare Crimson Desert to any of the big games.
I love these, like, dumb little
realize
baby faces.
That anything you're doing in the game.
Again, he talks like a cartoon character all the time. And yeah, he's like, yeah, my audience is a bunch of adults. Yeah, this is how adults talk to each other.
It's very meaningful. And what I mean by that is, compare Crimson Desert to any of the big games of that first 8 years that I was a creator. Can you tell me that?
But why is that? But how is that? Why? Like, there were probably games like Crimson Desert even back then. I mean, like, Heavenly Blade, Heavenly Sword, whatever. The one with the hair physics that launched at the PS3 or whatever the fuck. Like, that's kind of a Crimson Desert style game. Like, did anyone talk about this game? I don't, like, nobody. Like, there were games like that. And he's saying there, like, yeah, man, Crimson Desert is the only game that has, like, this, like, bloat and, like, it's not, like, meaningful or whatever. Like, dude, there were clones even before. Like, come on.
That the actual story, the actual traversal, the actual puzzle solving, anything that you're doing in this game is so amazingly, groundbreakingly cool that you have moments in your head that resonate and you're like, wow, I'm never going to forget that. That was really memorable. And, you know, I'm so glad that I played Crimson Desert.
Okay. A few days ago, someone asked this guy, hey, Phil, what's your favorite Donkey Kong Country game? And he was like, I don't know, man. Like, I never played those games. Then he said he did play them because he was saying he never played them at launch. But he did play them. He played Donkey Kong Country 1 through 3. He played DK64, DK Bonanza, all this shit, right? He played all these Donkey Kong games. And this guy cannot tell you which one he liked. Like, at all. Now, I never played Persona at launch. I never played Persona 3 when it came out. Never played Persona 4 when it came out. The only Persona game I played at launch was Persona 5. Guess what my favorite Persona game is? Persona 3. Now, am I going to sit there and say, well, I don't know, man. I never played Persona 3 or 4 at launch, guys, so I don't know. I don't know about that, but I played Persona 5 at launch, and that was a trendsetter of the mainstream Persona franchise, so I think I like Persona 5. This guy is such a drone. He can't even give you an opinion because he doesn't know which of the Donkey Kong Country games people love the most. That's why Super Mario World is his favorite Mario game, because that is the one that everyone likes. Like, you know, you could find it, like, if it's not Mario World, it's Mario 64. But he doesn't like Mario 64 because that's a little too modern for him. That's why he also doesn't like Ocarina of Time. That's why he likes Link to the Past. This guy likes so many, like, such boring ass shit. He always wants trendsetters. It's like so, like, not like anti-art, anti-gamer this guy is. Like, he's such a fake person. It's like insane. And he mocks all these people that he considers fake. As this guy's like, I like Gremlins, I have a Gremlins shirt. Guys, I love games, like my Pac-Man light. And, like, this guy can't tell you anything. And he's like, yeah, what's the thing you remember? Okay, what do you remember about fucking, Metal Gear Solid 3, right? Oh, I liked it because it's like James Bond. He always tells you, when you ask him, when you put his back to the fucking wall, he always says, well, I like it because, like, it's this. He always says buzzword shit. Nothing from his own experience says he like it. Oh, Resident Evil 4 is so good because, like, it changed the franchise. It made it into an over-the-shoulder shooter. But, like, do you have any memorable moments that were meaningful to you? Like, what does that mean? And he doesn't even give you an example. He says, well, like, he brings up Bioshock. Yeah, the only thing that I know what he's talking about is like the abilities you get. Whoa, guys, you never get magical abilities in video games before Bioshock, or then the big twist that the guy you've been talking to was actually the villain, and the what do you kindly was actually like a thing that made you do shit. Whoa, man, crazy. But I think maybe I'm ill informed, but I think that kind of narrative device has been used before in video games. Like, call me crazy, but I think like that kind of reveal has happened before.
For me, the answer is no. In the 20 some hours that I played Crimson Desert, I never had a single jaw-dropping, oh my god, first
and
time.
This is also bullshit. I wish I remembered the game. But there was a game he played from start to finish saying, well, this game is meant to be like this because it's an homage to the classic game. So it didn't expand a lot because it's meant to be like this. Man, I wish I remembered the game. And because this was a game that was widely panned, people didn't like it because it was not optimized or whatever the fuck. And it was like a PlayStation game, I think, or whatever. It was on PC and consoles or whatever, but it's not a good game. People were just not liking this game as much as DSP was. And it's not Merciful Suspect, that's a different thing. But it was like a somewhat recent game. And this dude was like defending the fuck out of it, saying, oh, well, it's meant to be like this. It's because it's supposed to be, or whatever. But then when this game is like not innovating, he's like, it's supposed to innovate. It's supposed to change the world. Like, why does Crimson Desert have such a high bar to clear than this other game? I wish I remember the game, man. I really do.
Time ever, culturally relevant moment. Instead, it was like, okay, so they're kind of doing this here and they're kind of doing this there. This is from this game. This is from this game. It's taped together.
Like, I guess South of Midnight would be a good example, even though it's not really what I'm thinking of. But because South of Midnight, I don't think is necessarily a bad game either. But that was another game that he was, dude, it's like a PS2 game. Whoa! But why didn't that game need to change the world?
All right. But why am I doing this? And ultimately, that becomes the big question for me when I'm playing a game these days. Why am I doing this? Is there a...
This is such a dumb thing for him to say. And like, his indie game streams that he's been doing kind of really make me hate his gamer takes so much more. It makes me more toxic. Because this fucker will sit there like, I don't want to do this, if I just I'll get a job. Or whatever the fuck, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, this fucking guy, him and his dumb fuck wife are playing fucking simulator games. Yeah, man, I'm playing a Blockbuster sim, video rental sim, Power Wash sim, Raking Leave sim. He does all these dumb fuck sim games. And then this guy will sit there and be like, yeah, man, my time is valuable. You're playing fucking sim games. And I'm not gonna, arguably Tomodachi Life is a sim game, but that at least is a little bit more like quirky and interesting. But he plays sim games like fucking video rental sim. Whoa, guys, we get to set up a store. Then we rent videos. Whoa, and then later on they're gonna add video games, guys. Whoa, and it's like. And I'm sure this guy's gonna say, well, you can't do that now. There's no Blockbuster anymore. Herpader. Even though that's basically the same experience you get at a rental store. Not at a retail store, I mean. But, like, there's all these sim games that these fuckers play. They don't play any actual games. Like, he tells us, Kat loves RPGs. She loves them. Doesn't play Metaphor. Doesn't play Expedition 33. And it's like, he played Expedition and was like, yeah, this game is amazing, and she doesn't play it. She doesn't play Metaphor. Why doesn't she play Metaphor with him in the room so they love RPGs so much, right? Like, this guy is so fake. It gets me, like, it drives me up the wall every time he tells me how much he loves sim games. Like, every time he talks about indie games, it's always that. And then he plays an actual game like Mugenics. He drops it because it's too much of a video game. That's too much of a video game. We gotta drop it, guys.
A story that's riveting, that's keeping me going. Is there a gameplay element that I'm addicted to that I want to keep going back? Because the thing is, you don't need a good story for it to be a good game. And I actually think this has been one of the big things of contention about Crimson Desert, is that people are like,
dude, he bitched about the gameplay just as much about the story. And then act as if the story was a big deal. Like, okay.
the story sucks. And then other people, big creators, have come out and said, the game doesn't have a story. Act like it doesn't. Even though it does, act like it doesn't, because that's not the focus. The focus of the game should be the overwhelming amount of content and the world that's created in the sandbox environment. That's what you should be sucked into and immersed in, okay?
Well, a lot of people
that's all
do
well
that.
and good. But if it's just gameplay for gameplay's sake, then that's only going to appeal to a...
Dude, this is dumb. This is dumb. Because, like, dude, I play a lot of video games, and it's like, yeah, there are games I like playing just because of the gameplay sometimes. Like, I don't care about the story or whatever. Like, I play Devil May Cry 4 sometimes just for the Bloody Palace, just to play as Lady, just to, you know, whatever. Like, I don't like the game. It's not a good Devil May Cry game, but I play for that. Devil May Cry 5 has a decent story. Don't care that much about the gameplay. At least in the set piece designs, like the dungeon designs or whatever you want to call it. The locations you go to is kind of whatever, but the gameplay is fun. Like, there's nothing like that is part of video games. Like, there are still people out there that will look at a game, like, there are still people who will look at someone play Death Stranding and say, are you winning? Are you winning the game? Like, there are still people that do that. There are still people who don't care or whatever, or think that the story is dumb. Like, you know, it's funny. Like, one time I was showing my mom the Nier soundtrack, and she loves the music. She loves the music. She loves going to the concerts. She's like, yeah, let's go to the concert. It's great. She loves the music. But she was like, the story is stupid. Like, I tried to explain it to her, and she's like, yeah, this sounds really stupid. Yeah, the whole plan. Okay. There's white chlorination. Okay. Wow. Robots. Like it's clear she doesn't give a fuck about the story, and she like doesn't care. but the music she's there for. She's like, oh, loves the music. That's it. The story she doesn't care about. She's like, yeah, for the birds. It's for the birds. I will say I love my mom's opinions on movies and stuff like that. Like, I always quote my favorite quote from her: "Ursula the Sea Bitch, all time banger for me."
Audience, do you
Ursula
see?
The Sea Bitch.
Because there's people who play games for different reasons. There's some people who play games for challenge. There's some people who just play games to chill. There's some people who actually are super professional.
But this is the okay. Like, he's saying that, yeah, gameplay for gameplay's sake is not to please everyone. Yeah, not every game needs to please everyone. Like this is like, you know, as I said about all these other games, like, I accept that FromSoft makes games for specific audiences that want a challenge. Like, I don't think it's gonna be the end of the world for FromSoft to add like an easy mode to their games. But I also am not saying that they should be for it's one thing if like FromSoft decides on their own, like, yeah, you know what, for this game, let's add an easy mode. Let's just throw it in there. You know, and then we'll do the FromSoft challenge on normal mode or whatever. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But they shouldn't be forced. Like, Sony should not go to FromSoft like, hey, add an easy mode. Do it, bitch. Like, yeah, they don't need to do that. And then they prove they don't need to. Like, you know, I feel like every time I see this discourse around, like, now it's not as much as it used to be, to be fair. But what it used to happen a lot, like, people kept acting as if like there was this ongoing fear that FromSoft was gonna be forced to add an easy mode. I'm like, no, they made like Dark Souls 1 through 3, Bloodborne, like, because this was going on around Sekiro time. It's like, yeah, I don't think you have to worry about FromSoft being pressured to add an easy mode. Like, they have like kind of like established themselves as a game developer that could just make hard games and they can sell. Like it's no longer a question like, can you make a game and make it sell? Like, that only becomes a question when you take a long-standing IP to do that with. Like, if you take Devil May Cry and, yeah, let's get rid of the challenge settings and let's make that like Dark Souls. Like, yeah, that would be a problem. Like then you're gonna be like, okay, this may not sell. But from stuff that's proven themselves that this is an actual viable genre, uh, so I do think that there is like enough evidence to show that you can make games not for everybody. Like, you know, a lot and you know, a lot of people bring up the accessibility options. I don't think is the same as like making a game that's like making a game designed for someone and then making a game just to be like playable to people who may have a disability are not the same. Like, it's unequivocal, and I wouldn't say that like a challenge setting is equivalent to an accessibility option. Uh, you know, the budget stuff, like, I can kind of get that discourse, but I would also then argue that it is actually like worthwhile doing it because, you know, these people need to play games too. But whatever, that's a different that's a completely different topic. But you know what I mean? Like, not every game needs to be made for people who don't want to play a hard game. Like, you know, people who want to play a game and sit down and just fuck around. Yeah, you don't need to dumb down Bloodborne for those people. They have games for them to play, etc., etc.
Professional about it, and there's others who just come home from work or school, they turn on their console or their PC for an hour or two a day, and they gel, right? They vibe. They're just, I'm just unplugged.
I hate
from
the word
world,
gel.
So everyone goes into gaming for something different, but ultimately there are culturally relevant games that just seem to hit it for everyone.
So why does Crimson Desert like he's bringing this like, yeah, not every game needs to do this. People want to gel and fuck around. So why does so then why can that be applied to Crimson Desert? Why is he like highlighting the fact about innovation with like, he brings this up in the same breath of saying games don't innovate anymore. They don't innovate anymore, but they don't need to, but games need to innovate more. Like, these don't make any sense, like, at all. But okay.
Everyone, and I think this is the reason why Crimson Desert is like a must-play game of the year experience for some, and for others, they play it, they're like, meh, I don't get it. I really don't understand what the big deal is.
Like, the only thing that he's bringing this up for is simply just trying to validate his opinion. Again, this is like not how you have an opinion. Like, you don't need to validate your opinion this much and all this other stuff. Like, you can like explain like, yeah, I don't like Crimson Desert, like, or whatever. This is, well, I disagree. I think the gameplay is fun and blah blah blah. And you're like, yeah, but it just didn't click with me. Yeah, there's gonna be people that like overreact to that opinion. Like, definitely. But you don't need to lose sleep over it. Like, he could say what he said, like, yeah, I don't like Crimson Desert, it's disappointing, it's just not like fun. And then people are gonna say, yeah, this is a dumb take. He doesn't have to lose sleep over those kind of takes. You know?
For me, I land somewhere in the middle. And the reason I say that is,
he lands somewhere in the middle. Oh, okay. This is him in the middle. Crimson Desert is a boring slop! Yeah, that's him being in the middle. Yeah, man. That's definitely him being in the middle. Like, this is a title DSP would say is clickbait and would say it's over dramatic. But he's just hamming it up. Right.
There's times when I'm playing Crimson Desert and I'm exploring and, wow, look at this amazing vista that I'm standing on. You can see the view of the world and all these towers out in the distance, and I'm up here solving puzzles and stuff, and it looks really cool and it feels awesome. And then there's other times when I'm forced to go into a camp and kill repetitive enemies, and there's a boss that's just...
You know, this is the other thing. This is really straight up the other thing. He is acting as if games cannot have low points. Like, I'm sorry, there are just straight up games that you can love that have bad shit in there. Like, not every game can be a masterpiece. Even masterpieces have flaws. Like, this is part of the no game is 100% rants. That's why, like, you know, the definition of 100% has changed over the years to not be like a flawless game, but more of like a vibes kind of thing, basically. Because, yeah, there are games that you cannot expect to have constant highs. Like, that would be insane. Like, you can't have constant highs. Like, that would be like no way. Come on.
Just a stupid slog of a boss, and I'm bored to fucking tears. So for me, it's that mixed bag kind of a feeling. I don't really detest and hate the game at all times, but I'm also not in love with it either. I can understand why some people like it, but I just don't get why people are hyping the game the way they are. All right? So the best way that I can describe it, and I know some people are going to disagree with me here, and I know that some people are actually going to be frustrated, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree. All right? I respect your opinion if you like Crimson Desert, but now please listen.
Okay, this is him respecting someone. No, actually, this is the Daily Wrap. Man, I kind of want to go out of order. He's really tempting me on this, but we're just gonna keep
up to mine.
Trucking.
All right? When I play a game, as I get older, okay?
Oh my god, we're gonna do the fucking time commodity bullshit. Dude, fucking end it now. Like, I'm sorry, if you're telling me every day about time is valuable, I love time. Just don't play video games. Like, inherently, you're wasting time playing a video game. Even if he gets paid by playing video games, he's wasting time. Because you're just taking any chance. The time he's spending playing a video game, he could spend actually doing a more productive hobby or something more interesting. Like, because honestly, you could extend it even further, honestly. Because if he wants to, because he's gonna argue, well, this is my job. Look at his job. He has to like, he gets upset when games he likes don't get a lot of money. He is beholden to his audience on what games he plays, blah blah blah. Like, he has to go through a neurotic meltdown over games he's playing and what is making money and all this other stuff and all this shit. But why not spend the time, instead of like playing a video game? Why not find a hobby that is actually more enjoyable? Why not like try something else? Like, editing videos can also be a hobby. Art can also be a hobby as much as a profession. Like, all these things he could try to do and learn and like build on. And that could be stuff that he could make money and that may lead to more enjoyable, meaningful experiences for him and his audience. Like, sometimes you see a movie or a show that's shitty and it starts shitty, but then you follow along the person's like career, and this person starts to like find a voice, find something that they're good at. Like Evil Dead, like the first movie was bad, people didn't like it. Evil Dead 2 comes out, it doubles down on the campiness and nonsense, and it works. People love it, and that establishes a lot of Sam Raimi's style, and why a lot of people like Sam Raimi as a director and a creator and all this stuff. Like, I saw Silent Help, great movie, love that movie, etc. But he's wasting his time playing video games and like freaking out about what is being made. So this time as a commodity is such a bullshit argument, because even when you look at his own career, he's not getting anything from it. What's the meaningful conversation does he have with his audience?
More and more, I'm looking for an experience that's memorable, that stands out, and is worth my time. Okay? For example, if I'm going to go out somewhere to eat and have a meal out with my wife.
But this is also silly, because when he was bragging about not having goals anymore and all this other bullshit he brags about all the time, he said that, well, it's great, I'm doing so well, I don't have to worry, I can just buy a game, play it, then drop it, see what it is, say, oh, that's interesting, and then drop it if I don't like it. That's what happened with Crimson Desert, and look at him now. I'm looking for a game that's worth my time, and this and that. Like, this is like entitlement. What about like just checking a game? Like, you're wasting time innately. Like, I wanted to check out the Super Mario Galaxy movie because I thought it was gonna be an interesting movie. I watched it and I left disappointed. Now, I'm not gonna say it's the worst movie on the planet. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but it is pretty bad and disappointing from what I thought it could have been. Uh, yeah, I wasted my time sitting in the theater when I could have done many other things. But that's just it. Sometimes when you check something out, you're wasting your time. And that's all it is. And sometimes people will even argue, well, then just leave. Like, what? Like, yeah, you wasted your money, but sometimes just leave and all this other shit. Like, that just happens sometimes. Like, it's all in your own, it's in your control to do what you want to do with what you buy, what you experience, all this stuff. Like, because nothing is entitled for you. You're not entitled to have a meaningful time with anything you do. You buy a game that you're not entitled to having a good game. You're entitled to have a game and see if you like it. That's all you're entitled to. You're not entitled for the game to like bend over backwards for you.
I would much prefer to go to a place where maybe, all right, it is a little more expensive. Maybe it's a shorter experience, but it's high-end food. So, for example,
this is dumb. Oh my god, like this is so dumb because there are literal restaurants that will give you a bill, you can order food and they'll give you like this amount of food, and then you're paying like hundreds of dollars for it. And this dude is basically saying, well, that's worth it. No, fuck that. Fuck that. I'm not saying that they should overload the food, but I don't need to like sell an organ to get good food. Like, I don't need to do that. And I shouldn't. But like, you could get decent food for reasonable prices or whatever. Like, yeah, sometimes you may pay a little more for certain food, but it's always within reason, in my opinion. Like, nobody's gonna sit there. Like, there was one time I did like order online at a restaurant, which I've eaten before, and it was not like super expensive at all. I mean, it is like a little bit pricey to be fair, but it's not. It wasn't like, oh my god, I'm breaking the bank eating there. But I ordered online once, and it was like, yeah, I'm not ordering this place online ever again. It was ridiculous. It was like, okay, this is dumb. Like, they listen to the price of the food, and then they look at it's like, it's just the online service surcharge was garbage, and it was like, yeah, this is a scam. Fuck this. I'm not ordering that. I'm gonna move on. Take my business elsewhere. It's all bullshit, dude.
Well, I'd rather go pay for seared halibut and a filet mignon steak and, courses of good food than, say, go to an all-you-can-eat buffet.
But this is not an apples to apples comparison. Like, a restaurant is like kind of different, and it also has like regulations, like, to make sure that they're not giving you like shitty food or food that's tainted or old or whatever. And even then, like, there are restaurants that can give you a filet mignon and then you're gonna get like garbage, like, whatever. And it's also unfair. Because you're like, it's just like, because these are two different places with two different audiences, and at that and even at that point, you know what you're getting. Like, if you're going to a steakhouse, you know what to expect versus going to a home buffet. Like, you know immediately. You look at Crimson Desert, it's a video game. Like, this is a different beast altogether, where you only know at most maybe the genre or whatever, and you can get it judged immediately at that point, or you may not. Like, I hate these food analogies. It's like really like stupid, and it's kind of I don't know how to describe it, because it's kind of like snobby, because you're just kind of like, I don't want to say necessarily like he's the guy putting down like poor people or like the poverty thing, but he is kind of painting very clearly that home buffet is like the like, lesser of the two. And it's like, that's not really the case. Like, some people go to a home buffet because they may like the amount of food that they can get or whatever. Like, come on.
Does that make sense? For me, as I get older, my time is more valuable. I don't have time to just invest endlessly in game worlds.
Because in this case, if that's the case, then why did you go to a home buffet? It's like, I only want to eat a filet mignon, so I'm gonna go to a vegan buffet that only has salad. or whatever the fuck, like tofu. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna eat, and I'm gonna bitch that there's no filet mignon there. Like, you're an asshole then. Like, it's like going to McDonald's and then being like, where's the filet mignon? Where the fuck is the filet mignon? This is a terrible restaurant, and it's like, you went to McDonald's, dude. Like, you chose to go there. Like, and then he's like, well, like, this example is garbage.
To sit here for 80 to 100 hours, I don't have a time when I'm playing a game and I hit a boss and I can't beat it to be told, well, you gotta leave for 10 hours.
But here's the thing. Here's the other thing that you know, I you know, this was, I would have let this slide, but I'm not. Fuck this guy. Because, very simply, this is his job. His job is playing video games. Like, dude. And also, I'm gonna shit on this even more. He's calling this a review. He did not beat the game. This dude has ranted and raved about game journalists not finishing games to review it. And I guarantee this guy's gonna hide behind, I'm not a reviewer. I'm a gamer. So I don't need these regulations, but a journalist you're supposed to believe. But he wants us to take his opinion so seriously, but so he doesn't have any quality control with his gaming takes. Like, he's not even willing to beat the game to have an opinion. But at this point, it's not worth it. He already made up his mind, so he's gonna. So if you tell him that and force him to play the game to completion, he'll just be even more annoyed and hate the game even more and be a little baby about it. Because this guy's a giant baby. He's a giant baby. And he's like, oh, you're telling me to do this, dude? You're being paid to play the fucking game, dude. You're being paid to pay. You're being paid to pay. Oof. You're being paid to play. And you are, like, spending time playing this game. And he grinds in other games. Like, dude, the fucking Pokemon streams are just grinding. How can he complain about grinding? He plays Pokemon to grind. But he has monetary incentive to grind. He did that with Expedition 33. He has done this with so many other games. But here's the difference. He doesn't like this game. But okay.
And grind, get better gear, level up your health, level up your stamina, then come back and fight the boss. I don't have time for that shit. I want to get...
What? How do you not have time? Again, this started with a side boss. A boss you didn't need to fight. He could have easily just left. And he's mad that he forced himself to do that. Dude, you chose to beat your head into the wall that you didn't need to beat your head into. It's like, it's really like you open a door to tell the guy, hey, you can leave. I open the door for you. And the guy is still like is trying to like dig through concrete to get out. It's like, at some point, you're just gonna have to leave him alone and just let him like do it. Because this guy is so butthurt about a side boss and say, I need to go back and do this. It's a side boss. Why don't you just go on and do other things?
I want a game to be good now. I want to have...
and to go back to this food analogy, right? It's like you go to a home buffet, and actually, they have a filet mignon that's delicious. Everyone loves it. But you decide to go to, like, the rotten tofu or ham that's been there for years, and people spit on it, pooped on it, whatever, and you're like, I can't believe this is what I'm eating. This is bullshit. And then someone says, why don't you just get the filet mignon? Like, no, I have to work my way to the filet mignon to get there. I'm not gonna, like, just go straight there. I have to work my way there. Like, that's what DSP is doing. He's eating the shit instead of just going straight to the filet mignon because he's such a dumb fuck. This guy, I said this every time he complains like this. He's basically complaining that the game isn't forcing him to go to the meaningful parts immediately. The game is letting him do whatever he wants, and that's too bad. It's like, tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Huh? It's like you play Guilty Gear, and you don't know what character to play, and instead of like looking at the characters like, I don't know what to do, I'm not playing this, too many characters, fuck this game. Like you're gonna look like an idiot. People are gonna be like, what the fuck's your problem?
Have meaningful experiences now, and I want my time to feel like it's well invested.
And this is another ironic complaint from this guy. There are so many rants you can just find where he calls gamers entitled. They want meaningful stuff now. They want stuff now. And that's how it works. You gotta be patient. All this shit. Always bitches when people like look at every rant he had about people who don't like turn-based RPGs. Like, watch any of them. Any of them. And he's like, these people are so entitled. But he doesn't understand that. But like I was talking about this game, it's the same kind of vibe. When you hear someone say, I don't like turn-based games because this is exactly how I used to feel. Why do I want to play a game where I have to wait my turn to fight someone? Like, in a real fight, you're not going to take turns. You're going to just go. Like, why would I take turns? This is stupid. Like, that's how I viewed him for a while until I played Persona 5. And I'm like, oh, this is why it's good. Like, it's that moment from Ratatouille, guys. That was me. And DSP is sitting there, like, mocking people for having that kind of take. Meanwhile, he's shitting on Crimson Desert because he just simply does. The game didn't click with him. And instead of just saying, it wasn't for me, I didn't get it, he's doing this nonsense. Like, he doesn't need to talk about games being meaningful. He needs meaningful things now, when this literally flies against all his other rants that, like, because people can say the same thing with Crimson Desert. Well, DSP, you're just not letting the game click with you because you're expecting things to happen now and all this other shit. When it's like, no, I'm playing this amount of time. Like, okay, but that you can say that about any game. You can even say that about Dragon Quest. Like, hell, literally, that's half the people who even like Dragon Quest criticize Dragon Quest 7 for the pacing. DSP is the only person that kind of likes the game for the pacing, I think. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to the Dragon Quest playthroughs, so maybe I'm out of like my depth. But people have criticized this game for the pacing. Meanwhile, DSP has always defended turn-based games with any understanding that maybe people want more meaningful stuff now and all this other stuff. Like, the shit he's complaining is the same shit people complain about games he likes. Like, come on.
So, if I'm going out to eat, I want to have the high-end gourmet experience when I'm going out and paying top dollar. Now, I could easily go over here to Old Country Buffet, and I could spend $25 and sit there eating slop all day, and it's all you can eat slop.
Remember, guys, it's okay if you like the game, but I'm comparing it to slop. Isn't that cool? Cool.
Right? And you're going to have people, when you're at Old Country Buffet, who are going to come up to you and argue with you that all that food is good. They're going to say, dude, are you kidding me? That mac and cheese is so good. Did you have the...
Oh my god, this is like the shit, like, you know, a lot of people, like, praise Costco hot dogs. Like, I've never seen anyone praise anything more than a Costco hot dog. I never had it. I don't have a Costco membership. I'll never know the enjoyment of Costco hot dogs. I'll never know. And everyone's like, oh my god, the Costco hot... And to me, it's like, you go to a supermarket, and you're telling me the hot dog is good? I don't know, man. Like, a lot of supermarket food I don't think is that good. Like, I don't know. But people swear to the Costco hot dog. Like everywhere I go, I always hear the Costco hot dog's amazing. Oh my god, the Costco hot dog. You're not living until you eat the Costco hot dog. And it's like, okay, sure, whatever. You know, I'm not saying like, oh my god, these people, they're gonna look you in the eye and say the Costco hot dog's amazing. Dude, it's Costco. But it's like, you know, maybe it is good. Maybe the mac and cheese in old house country buffet restaurant land is good mac and cheese. I mean, how can you fuck up mac and cheese? Like, you would have to try. Like I can't even picture it. Like, how would you mess with that?
The chicken fried steak? Did you have the spaghetti? Did you have this all-you-can-eat salad? Oh, I love it. Old Country Buffet is my absolute best place to eat because it's endless amounts. To which you can say, it's true.
But this is dumb. Like, this is stupid. This is kind of like, oh my god, this dude is so miserable. That's all I can hear. Like, this dude is like thinking people like go to those places because they like it for it being unlimited. What if they just like the food? Yeah, sometimes some of it is because maybe they can only afford that because maybe these are more affordable places, but what do you want them to do? And then yeah, like naturally you would assume that you're paying top dollar for good food, that the food is gonna be good. But there's also just as much bad food in ritzy places. Like I went to a restaurant that's like not expensive, but it's like decent, and I didn't care for the food. So what's the deal with that? I paid a lot of money. I paid more than $10. Why was the food not good? Why didn't I love it? Why didn't I explode in flavor? And this dude pays so much money for other food, and then sits there and has food he doesn't like, but he's sitting there acting as if the only way you can measure quality is the amount of money. It's insane. It's insane. People go to these places for their own personal taste. Like, and he's kind of dumbing down these people who go to the buffet and they'll argue with you because, it's so obvious this dude kind of looks down on, like, and the same thing Walmart. Again, I don't like Walmart, but I don't like it I don't like it for different reasons. I just don't like it because I just don't think that they have ethical business practices and all this stuff. I understand why people go there, and I don't blame anyone for going there, and I understand it. Like, it's not like, whatever. But he'll go there and be like, "Oh, I don't go to Walmart because I can afford not to," or whatever. And he kind of looks down on people for go there. I don't look down on people who go to Walmart. I don't look down on people who go to these places. But he has these weird segments where he talks down to them. Not fully negatively. I'll be a little fair because he does say at least like, "Well, they have no choice. It's cheap." But he always talks like condescending to them, like kind of like how the rich talk about a poor person. Like, they can enjoy a little. They don't need 2 Barbie dolls. They're fine. And it's like, fuck off, man.
You get insane value for your dollar when you go to Old Country Buffet and you get all you can eat. The problem is, it's all slop. It's low grade. It's not cooked well. It's not gourmet. It's just...
How do you know it's not cooked well? He's just assuming, this is the same thing, like, my mom kept telling me growing up, don't ever eat at a buffet. But she only said it because she was approaching it like, yeah, a lot of people are, like, putting their heads over the thing. You don't know if they're gonna sneeze on the food. You don't know if a fly landed on. You don't know where the fly has been. Which is reasonable because you don't know, like, what's there. But, like, you could get sick anywhere else. So it's like, at the end of the day, like, you can just kind of eat there. I'm more picky if I go to a buffet. It's like, I either go for pasta or something that's like I don't have to worry about like a lot or whatever. Where it's like, whatever. But that's just it. That's like as like she never told me about the cookwell. The cookwell thing. It's only when it comes to like food that you need to care about. Like, certain meats you may be able to get away with, but meat in general, you should be more careful. Like pork, I think, is a kind of meat you need to cook very well. Fish is one. Mayonnaise is another. Like she's like, you don't know about the eggs and how long the mayonnaise has been there, and, like which is reasonable. But this dude is sitting there like, yeah, it's not cooked well. Yeah, like that's the problem. Like at buffet, they only have food that you can kind of have that situation. You're not gonna go to it's a whatever. And you're not going there with that expectation, but that doesn't mean the food is bad or low quality or whatever. He just keeps looking down on these things.
Heat lamp food. It's a bunch of meaningless heat lamp food. It still fills your guts. So
this guy eats like Chinese food and all this other stuff. I mean, there's good Chinese food. I'm not gonna necessarily dog on Chinese food, but there is a lot of Chinese restaurants that just they just give you food. They just give you food. It's like, yeah, you can eat it. Like,
so it still uses your time, but it's not necessarily good for you. If you go to the gourmet
no, like, honestly, most food you eat is not good for you, like, to some degree. Like, whatever, okay.
restaurant, it may be more expensive, and it may be a shorter experience.
Look how much of a drone this guy is. Like, you're going to a gourmet restaurant, you think you're eating healthy? Like, dude, like, you're... Like, I remember, this... I used to be a scribe for a hospital. Get this guy. I used to be a scribe. Know what those are? And this doc, I was listening to the doctor I was scribing for talk about, like, yeah, because he was like talking about like salads, and he's like, yeah, a lot of people order the Caesar salad thinking it's a healthy salad because it's a salad, but it's actually like the least healthy salad you could order because there's so much cheese, there's so much like things added to it that kind of defeat the purpose of eating a salad. And I was like, yeah, I guess that is true because it is like it has a lot of dairy and stuff in it that's like, that's not why people would eat salad, right?
You're going to eat less for sure, but you're going to be getting actual handcrafted, well-designed, refined experience.
Well-designed.
You're going to get flavors and things that are going to pique your interest, and it's going to be once in a lifetime that you...
This is so stupid. Because all he can understand is food. He only understands food.
You get to taste that. And that's what gaming used to be.
Yeah, but again, like, like, oh my god, dude, this is insane. Because again, not, like, you can't have constant 5-star restaurant experiences. At some point, you're gonna go broke if you're, with this analogy. But even then, let's say you could afford it. It's like, yeah, you may not want gourmet food all the time. Maybe you want a home-cooked meal. Maybe you want, like, fast food or whatever. And, like, and he's kind of... this is kind of getting lost in the sauce a little bit because he's kind of saying, like, what he was looking for in gaming, and then it went to, this is what gaming used to be. So it went from, this is what I want, to gaming used to be this. Like, it's kind of telling you exactly what he just wants. He just wants, like, he doesn't want to really engage with gaming. He just wants to play games that everyone loves, and it's all hype, and it's great, and he pops it in, and it's like filling up his dopamine. He's like one of those, like, mythical dopamine junkies. Where, like, this is kind of the shit that people talk about when they're saying that, like, a lot of games, like, kind of, like, or even social media, to some degree, kind of overload you on dopamine, where you start, like, seeking it out, and you want constant, like, oh, like, it's kind of like what happens when, like, you make a tweet or whatever, and someone likes it, and they're like, someone liked it, and then you reread your tweet, you're like, oh, yeah, this is me. I was so right for saying this. That's DSP in a nutshell. Like, that's all he's looking for. He has no interest in, like, playing anything or having different, like, a different experience. He just wants constant, like, dopamine hits, which is not gonna happen. And again, like, this is, like, what gaming used to be. But, like, gaming also had a lot of games that were not art or not masterpieces that were just as good and fun as other games. Like, he's just ignoring that.
When you went and you bought a big AAA game that was $60, you were getting a handcrafted, high-end, top-of-the-line gaming experience. Something that was meant to be relevant, that you would remember forever in your mind as a gaming memory that would stay with you.
Okay, what was his gaming memory from 2010? I bet you he doesn't remember. I guarantee you'll be like, 2010? Oh man, what game came out in 2010? Huh? That's what they'll say, like, oh, Bioshock. I'm just shooting in the dark here. And like, yeah, dude, the Big Daddy, yeah. What do you cut? Yeah, man. That's what he'd say. Like, that's what he means. But, like, you know, to me, like, I have more memorable moments just, like, from playing games. Like, I wish I remember more vividly, but I had a friend over and I was showing him the Resident Evil 4 on the Wii because I was like, dude, you gotta play this game. It's so much like it's way better with the Wii remote. Like I would even argue even to this day that the Wii is like the definitive version of Resident Evil 4. And there was like that part where you're in like the compactor segment where you have the Iron Maidens and Ashley's on this little island and you're kind of like trying to get her to go to this other room or whatever. And you're fighting the Iron Maidens that surround her, right? There was like I forgot I couldn't remember the buttons to control Ashley, but so I gave her the controls and it was just so funny that it just became like, wait, follow me, wait, follow me, wait, Ashley, wait, follow me, wait, follow me, and it was just so and like the Iron Maiden was like getting like kind of closer where like it was ever so close. Like she had like no health on top of that. And it was so many things were going on. It was so funny. And it was just I was cracking up. I couldn't like I couldn't look at the TV. It was like this is so fucking hilarious. But it's like I can't remember that. And that to me was a meaningful moment. And then this dude's saying like meaningful moments. Like these are just buzzwords.
A game that you would then later on compare other games to and say, did it live up to this previous game that I've played? The problem is there's so few.
Yeah, right there, you already see the problem. You already see that he's setting himself to be miserable every year. Because like what game would do that? That's kind of an unfair expectation.
Of those gaming experiences in the modern
and
day.
It kind of ignores the people who worked on the game. Like, whatever. There's a lot of games that are just out for being out or whatever, but it's the same shit, as like say what we will about Call of Duty. Like people who are working on Call of Duty like their job and they enjoy what they are doing and they have a passion for it. Doesn't make the game any better, doesn't make the game great or whatever, but like the people who are working in the industry right now, they more or less like what they're doing and they have a passion for what they're doing. And they have people like this, they're like, yeah, man, they're not making meaningful content. They're terrible. And it's like, okay, man.
Day, people forgot what good games are. For so many people, a good game is simply a game with a lot of content.
This is dumb because DSP has said that same thing where, a game is good that has meaningful content or whatever. Like, sure, everyone wants quality over quantity and all this other shit, but it's all subjective. Like, at the end of the day, like, what's quality to you may not be quality for me. What may be, like, great for you may not be great for me, whatever. Like, it's all subjective. And he says that nobody knows what a good game is. Like, that's such a subjective take. Like, I don't like there's games like, people think Persona 4 is a good game. I don't think it's a good game at all. Like, I'm not gonna talk about Gold. I'm talking about vanilla Persona 4. So I'm not gonna really shit on Golden all that much. I haven't played it that far, so I don't have a strong opinion on it. But I don't like I think Persona 4 is the weakest cast in the games. A lot of the characters fall flat on what you wanted to do. Like Yukiko's S-Link is it just sets the tone for the entire game. Didn't like the game. The game is bad. The dungeons suck. The only positive I can ever say is like I at least appreciate that the dungeons tried to be more like dungeons and not like as grindy. Because I understand Tartarus. I understand why people didn't like it, but I love Tartarus, so eat it. The music is okay. It's not the best. You listen to Persona 3 soundtrack and you try to tell me 4 is better. I ain't listening.
I spent $70 on Crimson Desert and I can spend 200 hours in this gaming world. Okay, what's your favorite point of the story?
Look at oh my god, this is so stupid. Oh my god. Because right there he's already like boiling down meaningful content to a fucking story. What if someone's meaningful memory of Crimson Desert is a gameplay moment? Like, oh my god, dude, I was one hit away from death and I cleared out an entire base camp with just parrying. Oh my god, it was so epic. What if that was their meaningful memory? And I love that he's like, what's the story? Because he knows the answer because he just told us in the same video. Yeah, everyone hates the story. Everyone says the story is nothing and empty. So you're saying Crimson Desert is meaningful? Okay, what's the story? What's your favorite part of the story? Wow, DSP, did Cat help you with that one? And again, he loves games. He loves games. That's what, like, you just know he loves games when he's asking what's your what's meaningful about a game is what's the story? What's your favorite story? Because as we all know, everyone loves games for the story, not for the gameplay. Like, dude, that was like the genesis of gaming is gameplay. That's what started the whole thing. That's why, like, there is still a debate about story in gaming and all this stuff, why people don't like chat logs. You know, like, for a while, people dogged on the first walking segments because people like games. Like, all these things can exist and coexist, blah, blah, blah. But, like, people asking people what's their favorite meaningful experience in a game is such an open fucking question in a way that you can't have with movies and TV and books, whatever. Like, that's what kind of makes it more of an art form in a way, because it kind of gives you a more like tangible experience to what art can also give you in some ways. Like it's a whole other ball game here. And this dude will sit there and be like, gaming is art, but he's ignoring the aspects of gaming that can be seen as art. The gameplay can be seen as art because the way you control the game, the way it's played, the way the bosses work, all these things in some way are created in a like creatively. Like, again, it's just you can't really separate art from gaming on a very basic level, because it takes a creative thought to think of, like, okay, let's think of Mario and let's set up a two. Yeah, he can kill a Goomba in one hit by jumping on them, but a Goomba, okay, this hear me out. This character 2 hit, and the shell can also be you can also die from the shell even if the enemy's not alive. Like, all these things are things that people had to create, which is an art. Like, this guy just doesn't get art or anything because he's a little piggy. He's a little baby. He's a baby man.
What's your favorite camp that you took over?
But you're asking the chat and not reading the chat. Like, this kind of falls flat when you're not reading the chat to people who even care. And even then, they're probably just gonna give you LARPing answers. Like, whatever, man.
What's your favorite puzzle? In fact,
and by the way, I'm just gonna say this. He's saying, like, oh, I like handcrafted experiences and blah blah blah. But what is this music? He puts on random fucking playlist. I put on a playlist called Happy. I put happy music on. And for this is a chill stream, I put chill. Wow, what a handcrafted experience. You get fucking random ass music that adds nothing. This, like, his background music is literally music for the sake of, calling it music is being too generous. It's noise for the sake of being noise. It's really just for, like, so the video isn't buffering if you tab out. Like, that's all it is. It's just glorified, like, hey, did his playlist, did the stream buffer? No, it can't be buffering because I'm hearing noise right now. Like, that's all it is. The Pac-Man, the Devoob, all this stuff is just there for the sake of it. What does that hand? Why does it need to be there? It's just doing this. What's the point? Why do we need a you win screen? Like, what is the point? Like, and this dude is sitting there saying, Oh, so you like a game for the sake of liking it? Wow.
In fact, when you ask people, what is it that you like about Crimson Desert, most people don't have a definitive answer.
This is dumb. It's reductive to say there's no definitive answer. I don't think there's a definitive answer to any game. Like, ever. The most definitive you'll get is like, oh, the story. But that's like general. And the definitive answer I've seen from Crimson Desert is just the gameplay. Like, if anything, that's all I've been hearing from people. Like, that's the definitive answer. But he's gonna qualify with, what about the gameplay? Because just camp takeovers and this, that. When this guy plays Ubisoft games. Like, come on.
They just say, oh, well, I keep discovering new things and there's more content. Okay. But what exactly is it about the game that is...
Oh my god. Listen to this. Listen to this. There's no definitive answer.
People don't have a definitive answer.
Right.
They just say, oh, well, I keep discovering new things and there's...
But they don't have definitive things, but they say that they find things that they like. They discover new things. Now, there was a time, too long ago, maybe even a month ago, I don't know, whatever, where he complained the game was not throwing new things at him constantly. This game was not throwing new stuff at me. It's just the same thing.
There's more content. Okay. But what exactly is it about the game that is resonating with you besides the fact that you have so much content for the dollar? Again, you went to Old Country Buffet, you spent the flat rate, you're getting unlimited amounts of content, but it's slop. It's not coherent. It's not...
No, it is coherent because the game has like base takeovers or whatever the fuck. Like, it's a basic sandbox game. Like, if he's gonna, like, he says it's boring and then he's gonna say like it's mid and average or whatever the fuck to kind of like downplay this. But if that's the case, then it's not incoherent because average games are coherent.
It's not meaningful. It doesn't hold a candle to the good games of yesteryear. But hey, you got a lot of value for
this is unfair. I mean, this has happened a lot, so I don't even think you have to like think much. Like, you know what I mean when I say this, but he has played games that didn't hold a candle to recent games, and it doesn't hold up, and he will tell you this game is good for what it is or whatever the fuck. Like, he'll tell you the game is good for what it is, but he cannot do that for Crimson Desert for some reason. For some reason, Crimson Desert has to like reinvent itself and reinvent the wheel for him. Why? Why does Crimson Desert have to do that?
For your dollar, you didn't get ripped off. Hey, the game isn't trying to hit you with a ton of microtransactions or season passes or stupid
Oh my god, this is insane. Oh my god. I gotta hear this again.
But hey, you got a lot of value for your dollar. You didn't get ripped off. Hey, the game isn't trying to hit you with a ton of microtransactions or season passes or stupid scheduled releases that keep you coming back and spending more money. So therefore, the game's just good, right? Yeah, but okay, I get that.
How many people said it was good because it didn't have microtransactions? Like, they may say that, but it's not the first thing they say about the game. And he devalued that. They said, like, he was like, oh yeah, then they said this other stuff, but like, and? So it's like, so that didn't matter. Like, and then he brings this up, like, as if this, whatever.
That. And there's going to be people that's all they're looking for. When they spend money on a game, all they want is endless content that they can go back to and say, the value is there. And I'll agree with you. The value is there with Crimson Desert. There's so much to do in the game. But if none of it is coherent, if none of it is meaningful, because as people say, well, it doesn't really have a good or meaningful story, then why are you playing?
But, see, he keeps talking about meaningful stuff and meaningful content, but, like, he keeps, like, associating it with story all the time. When you can have a meaningful moment with the gameplay. And I know I think he's gonna agree with that if you bring it up. Like, oh, Phil, well, what about the gameplay? That could be meaningful. Like, yeah, man, but there's no meaningful gameplay, Crimson Desert. like, okay, but what if someone thinks that it's meaningful when they play? Like, like it's hard to explain it, right? Because you can't really explain like a meaningful moment sometimes, because sometimes it just doesn't click. That's why it's like hard for people to like recommend Death Stranding, because I can explain to you why I like Death Stranding. That doesn't mean that that you can understand why I like it. Like, yeah, I think it's like fun to like just kind of like do these deliveries, and I love like the terrain and the challenge there. But it's like, okay, but you're just walking around and you're just doing fetch quests. Like, yeah, that doesn't sound enticing, and that doesn't sound like fun. But it's like it's oddly fun. Like there's something there. But it's like he hates that game, yet the gameplay itself is meaningful. But whatever, okay.
Playing it simply to kill time? Well, I got news for you. There's other things you could do with your time that are going to be better for you. You can have actual IRL hobbies rather than just.
But video games are a hobby as well. I mean, come on. This is like whatever. And secondly, like if you're playing a video game, no matter how meaningful it is, you're already wasting time. Like, come on.
Just sitting in a virtual world of Crimson Desert for 2 hours, and they could result in actual real life skills and improvements to your actual life.
He is saying this as he like refuses to like edit videos or like find ways to make it viable. Like he could have done that. Like, and this is the same guy where he has a power outage and he's like, I don't know what to do. Guys, we have no electricity. I don't know what we're gonna do. We have nothing to do. It's like you can't figure anything out. There's nothing you can do. And this guy's telling you, yeah, well, if you're playing Crimson Desert to like waste time, you can do other stuff that's more meaningful. But if they find meaning in playing Crimson Desert, then wouldn't that be the meaningful thing that they're doing? Like, he's kind of being mean with this, because he's kind of insinuating that they only like it because he's focusing on we like it because there's content in it. But he's not thinking that maybe the content that they're experiencing is content that they like. I mean, come on. It's like me saying, yeah, okay, why do you like Bloodborne? And it's like, yeah, it's hard. Oh, so you like challenge? Okay, yeah, okay. If you want a challenge, why don't you try fighting in real life? Why do you do that? Why do you find real challenge? Why are you doing video games? Why are you wasting time doing challenges in a video game? Like that's like, it's like not really uh accurate to say, and kind of like fucked up. Not fucked up, but shitty, I guess. Because he's like telling these people who like Crimson Desert, well, you're liking content for the sake of it, so why don't you do something else with your time? But what if they don't feel that way? Just because he sees it as like content for the sake of content doesn't mean someone else sees it that way. It's like the same way as like he thinks his content is meaningful, but someone else may not think it's meaningful. And he says this and that's what the whole, you could disagree, it's okay, everyone has their own preferences, you know, different strokes for different folks, dude. And that's what that means. Like, what does he think that means? Like, he gets mad when reviewers hide behind their opinion, but he hides behind it more blatantly. Because, like, say what about game journalists and reviewers, whatever. But I believe it's their opinion way more. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's their opinion, I get it. Before I believe DSP's, it's just my opinion, dude. Because he acts so, like, antagonistic with his nonsense.
Rather than sitting in this virtual one. Okay? Just being honest, there's things you can do better with your time than spend 200 hours in Crimson Desert to then say, I'm done with the game, and say, well, I don't remember any of it.
But you know what? He remembered fighting that boss, the excavator. He remembered that fight. for a very unmemorable game, he sure remembers the boss fight that he conquered, right?
And I think this is what a lot of people have lost in modern society is I found something to waste my time on. Hey, look, it's a mobile game. And trust me, I know a lot about spending time and wasting time and money in mobile games. So
this is not the same. It's only like similar in the sense of both are wasting time, but Crimson Desert is not like made to trick you into spending time as much as mobile games are. Like mobile games are a little bit more predatory, especially WWE Champions. But like Crimson Desert isn't.
So I'm an authority on this one. There's a lot of people who I just want to do this. Okay, well, this is the best.
So he's the authority, right? So he has said, to be fair, that he only plays mobile games to pass time, which is honestly everything he does. Like it's on. Oh my god, dude! Like every time he talks about fucking time and filling time and this that. It is so insulting and offensive because he says that like time is valuable, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to a stream, you sit there for 30 minutes of music or slideshow. Then he starts the podcast, and then he just meanders through his topics with needless elaboration, needless build up, all this stuff. I cut out because I mean to be kind of fair, Raw Phil was kind of asleep at the wheel with this podcast, but when I was watching this, he dragged his feet to talk about Crimson Desert. There was another rant he did early on about Crimson Desert, then said, okay, well, I'm going to talk about it in a bit. That's not wasting time. And he has said at one point that the way he talks is to fill time. So he designed his speech to fill time, to waste people's time. And it's like, I've never heard anybody design talking to do that. It's like insane. Why would he do that? It's like he wants to waste people's time. And then he sits there, it's like, I'll be guys, I'm gonna take a 10-minute break, comes back in like 15 minutes all the time. Inefficient as fuck. He used to brag not taking breaks after the podcast or pre-stream or whatever at one point in time, and then slowly reintegrated the break between the podcast and the gameplay all the time. The morning show went from 30 minutes, a hard 30 minutes, to an hour long the second he started recording. And he's sitting there like saying, yeah, people like Crimson Derby, they waste their time. Isn't that stupid? You waste a lot of people's time, your own fucking content.
The best game ever, right? And it's mindless and it's meaningless. There's no point to it.
And he has also said he has played mobile games when he's with his wife. Like, in the Wings React, he was yelling at Wings. It was not yelling, but he was like saying, Wings, why are you up and not spending time with your wife all the time? Blah blah blah. Why isn't he spending time with his wife? Meanwhile, when DSP is spending time with his wife, he's on his phone. And it's meaningless. They says, well, no, I don't spend time on mobile games. I spend time with my wife. He said this exact song and dance during the 7 years he was lying about not playing WWE Champions. So it's a meaningless statement. Like it's the exact same script. It's not even that different. Like he's not. It's just lazy lies.
Crimson Desert is the slop of modern gaming. Now, here's the thing. There's an
Crimson Desert is the slop. That is wild. Coming from games that have come out every year, like, I don't know, Call of Duty. Assassin's Creed for a while was a slop game. I mean, now I think they said they're reevaluating the release period of that game. Basically anything from Ubisoft is slop. Say Crimson Desert is slop is kind of like very insane because I wouldn't even go that far. I just think it's a whatever game. That's it.
There's an audience for it, and that's okay. Millions of people involved.
So it's okay that it's a slop game because there's an audience for it. It's okay for people to go there for slop. Okay. I hate this. It's okay if you like it, but it's slop. It's stupid, guys. Yeah, I understand. You guys can love Persona 4 all you want, but I just think it's a stupid game that's a waste of time and makes you hate life and makes you reevaluate living. But it's okay if you like Persona 4, guys. I'm not, you can enjoy the game, but I just find the game to be miserable, stupid, and really, it ruined the franchise. I mean, I to be fair, I do think it ruined Persona. Because it added a lot of bullshit anime tropes that didn't need to be there. Persona 3 was a far more interesting game, but whatever, Persona 5 was better, and Persona 5 still used anime tropes, so it's like kind of
and bought it, and that's fine. But if you say that Crimson Desert is a Game of the Year contender over a handcrafted gaming experience
like what?
That has a story, that has meaning.
What? Okay, we're doing this, but Crimson Desert came out last month or whatever the fuck. What game came out since January that deserves Game of the Year contention more so than this game? He's also kind of ignoring that the year just started, and maybe people are just saying this is Game of the Year contender because it's because I don't want to give him the fucking term recency bias because that's gonna be the next term that he's gonna overuse and say in weird ways, but that's also a factor. I mean, a lot of things change over time. I mean, look at the Chainsaw Man finale. People hated it when it was out, and I've seen people kind of slowly start to come around to it and realize it's actually beautiful. It's a beautiful ending. I love the Chainsaw Man ending. I did a whole video talking about why I think it's great, but that's that.
Meaningful, groundbreaking content in it, you're actually doing the industry a disservice. And the reason is because...
And then he says you're doing the industry a disservice. He is saying, overhyping it is doing the industry a disservice, but this is what I said about the people who freaked out about people who say that they want FromSoft to have an easy mode. This is just paranoia for the sake of it and being scared of nothing. FromSoft has no threat of being forced to add an easy mode because FromSoft has already proven themselves to any company. FromSoft can literally go to a company and say, we can make this game hard and people will buy it. And then they're like, yep. You have 10 games or whatever to back this up. The industry's already following bad games as precedent. That's why you have live service games and battle passes and all this stuff. The bad stuff is already here. Crimson Desert, if anything, it just kind of fits the mold with other games, and it may do stuff better. I'm not trying to shit on because I haven't played the game and I don't know how good, but it just looks like a game that's any other game that probably has a decent combat in it or whatever. People like the game, they like how it feels, they like the game, the combat, whatever. And it's it probably does that very well. But it's not like Crimson Desert reinvented the wheel, nor does it have to. But he thinks that since people are praising the game, suddenly the entire industry is going to start pumping Crimson Desert clones. I don't even think Crimson Desert has the level of clout or prestige to even do that. It's no darling. Nobody's talking about Crimson Desert in the same vein as Clear and Obscure, for example. None of that has happened, but whatever. Okay.
Because when everyone jumps on a bandwagon, the industry follows because it chases the money.
But but this is dumb. Look at Persona 5. That came out, that was a dynamo. Every game, people are like, dude, Persona 5, this game is like Persona 5. How many RPGs exploded since then? I mean, it's not that they didn't come out. Oh yeah, there's no RPGs. But how many RPGs like exploded in that same way? Not many. Because it just gets the same. Like, maybe they had more of a spotlight, but how many clones of Persona 5 realistically came out? Not a lot. I've not seen a lot of games use an eye-catching UI as any Atlas game. Same with Metaphor. Uh, Baldur's Gate 3 came out. Did that really change? Like, this is the same thing. Like, other developers are like, oh my god, now that Baldur's Gate 3 came out, now we're gonna have to start, like, doing something that's not reasonable. And nothing happened. Nothing came of that. Where are the Baldur's Gate clones? Like, this is just pure fear-mongering over the wrong thing, because I don't think CEOs would even understand what gamers want, because they make bad decisions. Because the game companies and CEOs that are in charge, what they're looking for isn't what's popular, it's what is what is popular and is a reliable money-making source, which is why you see like Halo trying to run for, they went from Battle Royale to extraction shooter, because that can be filled with microtransactions just as much as Battle Royale. It can get the they think they can get the same audience and all this other shit. Like, that's chasing the money, and that's, look at what they want. It's not just what's popular, it's what is, like, in, especially in games, what can they make money on. That's why you see all this stuff. And then it's also the realism aspect of it. Like, there's other bigger issues that game developers or game publishers or whatever chase after, and it won't be Crimson Desert. Like, that's not going to be a concern.
All right, I want you to take a look at Grand Theft Auto Online, and I want you to take a look at Fortnite and how the success of those two games,
those two,
has single-handedly changed the direction of the gaming industry in the last 10 plus years.
But live service games have been a thing even before that, and it, whatever, like, it was GTA Online even that big? Like, he keeps conflating GTA Online. I don't ever hear anyone talk about it as much as Fortnite. Like, how many collabs does GTA have, right? Like, Fortnite gets carried a lot by their crossovers and also the drama with Epic Games. So it's like it gets kind of carried by that. GTA Online, even in the heyday, didn't get carried that far. Like, I don't know how you could even say GTA Online like changed the way of gaming at all, when it's just the live service aspect of it. And again, Fortnite only became that because there was another game that had that already existed. Like, it's very clear what companies are chasing, and it's not the game.
How every major AAA company is now chasing the games as a service model. All right? Now, to be honest, the model is collapsing on itself.
It's funny. I talked about this when he was talking about Last of Us in the Neil Kuckman video I uploaded. He was so butthurt about the fucking Last of Us multiplayer being dropped, when it's like, dude, read the writing on the wall. It was very clear the Last of Us multiplayer game that was coming out was gonna be a live service game. And it's very clear, in my opinion, the right call for them to cancel it, because they probably were thinking, yeah, this is not gonna do well, because it's just not, nobody wants it. Then you had Concord, and then that flopped. Like, live service games, I wouldn't say it's collapsing enough, so that's a little too generous. But I don't think it's an infinite money glitch that publishers think it is. And I think it's going to lead to other things as well. Like, there's going to be other things that are going to come in. You know, we're going to see what happens. But I don't think live service games are going to go away. But I don't think, I think good games are not going to have them. I'll put it that way.
It's not working anymore. So now you have a game like Crimson Desert that comes along. No real story. Nothing really excels whatsoever. In fact, most of the game is straight up lifted from other games and just glued and taped together. It really is an all...
He has said this about so many other games. Horizon Zero Dawn was a game that was taped together by other games. Even like Ghost of Tsushima, he said it was like other games taped together, but that was positive. That's different. This is it as a negative.
All you can eat experience, but it's all slop, but everyone praises it. And if you don't like the game, you've got major creators coming out and telling you you're doing it wrong. How
Who came out and told DSP that they're doing it wrong? What big creator? Like, and nobody is saying this. Like, I have, like, dude, they're like, what was it, Gene Park, whatever? Like, this person shat on Crimson. I mean, shitting on, I think is too strong of a word because I don't think this person necessarily hates the game. This person just says like, yeah, it's not like they didn't think it was worth the time, and they didn't like the pacing of it, whatever. But you'll notice, get this, guys. The person didn't sit there and say, yeah, I don't think gamers know what they want. Gamers fucked up. Yeah, guys, Crimson Desert is gonna ruin gaming. It's the end of the game. It's end of gaming, guys. I don't think Gene ever said that, and they probably never said that. They probably just said, like, something along the lines of, like, oh, the pacing, I didn't like the pacing, which is, like, reasonable, and nobody cared. I mean, maybe, like, there was a defense force that were like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that, but I don't think, Gene is losing sleep overnight for it or anything. Like, there has been people who have criticized this game. Like, come on. Come on.
How dare you not like Crimson Desert? How dare you approach it with the same criteria and judgments of quality that you would apply to other games? You are wrong. You should be liking it simply because it has so much quantity.
Guess what? A guy did not like Double Dragon Neon, said it was old or whatever the fuck. This guy was going off saying this guy doesn't know anything. How dare he not play it right? He said all this shit, but dude, like it was his opinion, right? Right, correct? What if you're just defending slop? The Double Dragon slop. That's what it was called, guys. It was a slop beat 'em up, a slop 'em up.
Quantity. Well, I'm sorry. Maybe I just like better things. Maybe I realize I'm getting older and I don't have time to waste on shit that doesn't have a meaning behind it anymore. I want more memorable experiences and I want more useful use of my time because as I get older, I have less of it left. I don't have time to spend.
This dude is like in his 40s and he's talking as if he's gonna die tomorrow. Like, but remember, guys, he's not suffering a midlife crisis. But I want to spend my time with everything meaningful. Everything must be meaningful. I need to spend my time. I have limited time. I'm gonna die soon. Okay, I need to spend meaningful time. But, like, dude, you're in your 40s. Slow down. And, like, you're wasting time anyway doing video games. You don't know what the sun looks like. You don't even know how it feels to have the wind blow on your fucking face. You don't even know the joy of a sunny day. And the joy of birds chirping. I mean, this guy doesn't even know the enjoyment of looking at a tree.
Spend 200 hours in Crimson Desert when I can play 5 to 6 other games in that time frame that I'll have more memorable experiences with.
But why do you have to play like Crimson Desert that much? Why can't you just play it and then enjoy it for what it is? Why is it always just like, I need to spend this amount of time playing this game? Why can't you just play the game? He has played so many games and it's like not even meaningful. You're telling me the Pokemon Fire Red is a meaningful playthrough where he's just like, I look at a Dratini, and then he's gonna like do boring ass songs, and then he like talks to his audience like they're babies. Oh, Jude, like he does that shit all the time. It's so fucking annoying, and it's like, yeah, this is meaningful content.
Maybe that's not the case for you, and that's okay, and that's why it's okay to agree to disagree.
But you just told them that they're ruining the industry. Oh, but they have to they have to like it quietly. That's what's going on here. So even though it may be your game of the year, you need to shut the fuck up. Don't talk about it. Okay. Cool opinion, dude.
But there's so many people out there that are polarized about this game and saying things like, well, Crimson Desert's the best game ever, game of the year, and if you don't get it, you're playing it wrong, and you have the bad...
He is like... conflating what people are telling him as everyone is saying this to everyone. No, they're just telling you this because I've not seen anyone tell like these other people who have criticized the game that they're playing it wrong, except for DSP, and he has played it wrong. I have not played the game, and I was like, this dude doesn't even know how to play. Like he didn't even know how to read a map. Like he didn't know where the banner was. He learned wrestling moves that he never used. And he's like, yeah, they're telling me I'm playing it wrong. Okay.
Bad opinions on this. No.
By the way, when people like were saying that oh my god, what was his favorite game? Whatever. Like, let's say someone says that they hate turn-based RPGs because like of that. He would say that they're playing it wrong. Okay.
Not everyone is the same. But the point I'm making here is, if we act like Crimson Desert is the best game of all time.
This you know, this is why I think his gaming takes is really funny and hilarious even, because to a degree, it's like, yeah, people support a lot of stuff that leads to bad things and all this other stuff. Like, I get that aspect of it, but that's such, in my opinion, it's not even worth, like, losing that much. Like, you could say, like, oh yeah, people are gonna, like, buy Call of Duty this year, and it's gonna suck because, like, more people are gonna play that game, whatever, and pass by, like, meaningful indie games. Oh, people are talking about Expedition 33, but they're not gonna know other RPGs that may be just as good or whatever, and they're gonna be supporting other stuff, whatever. But, like, but I think it's more important to kind of, like, understand that that the CEOs don't care. They don't care what sells, what people want, whatever. It's just like what they perceive will make a lot of money. Like that's why you get insane decisions that just don't make sense sometimes. It's like, no, just just let them do what they want, whatever. Like, you know, the money's gonna come if the game can, you know, do what it sets out to do, uh, etc., etc. Like, I don't think in any realistic scenario does anyone even care if a main character is a woman. Meanwhile, creatives have to constantly argue with CEOs that we should have female characters as the lead sometimes. Like that is still a debate sometimes in certain some studios, whatever. Like, but the audience doesn't care. They just want something that's well written or fun or whatever, and that's what matters. But the CEOs that are out of touch and they don't care, they're not going to think about that. So why are we sitting there and having these segments that are talking about how people spend money? Again, he's focusing on the wrong thing in this situation. He's not focusing on the studios, the corporations, which is why I've been saying this whole like thing about don't crush employees that he goes on is all performative. He's only saying it because it's a nice soundbite on Twitter, but he doesn't mean what he says, because every time when a instance of corporate greed shows up, he blames the gamer instead of the actual issue here. But whatever, okay.
Time, you will get 400 more games that are insane amounts of content and none of it meaningful. You're going to get 20 more GTA Onlines and 30 more Fortnite clones because that's how the industry follows. They chase the money. So seeing that this game sold millions and millions of copies, everyone's going to follow suit. Oh, get another.
But I thought competition breeds innovation, Philip. Because again, this is like what happens with competition. Like, come on.
Slop game out there. Slap everything together. Look, we have everything too. We have everything too. Play our game. Buy our game. That's how they work. None of these companies have creativity anymore. They follow the money. So if that's the case and if that's what you want, go for it. Kiss the game's butt. Say it's the best game ever. But I'm warning you. Consequences have actions, pimp. If you say Crimson Desert
guys, get it? Oh my god, this guy is so funny. Oh my god, he's wasting his time being a streamer. He should go to stand up. He should do stand up.
Well, good. You have to understand that's going to actually change the industry opinion on what's good in a game. I'm sorry, but for 8 years, I had these groundbreaking games all the
Hold up.
understand that's going to actually change the industry. Consequences have actions, pimp. If you say Crimson Desert is so good, you have to understand that's going to actually change the industry opinion on what's good in a game. I'm sorry, but for 8 years, I had these groundbreaking games all the time that I loved. And now for the last 10, they all kind of went away.
It went away for different reasons. Again, it's not because people like other games. That's why these meaningful games like don't exist. They do exist. You just don't play them. Like, come on.
Well, I don't want the industry to change for the worse because we all want to keep eating at Old Country Buffet rather than eating a 5-star Michelin star gourmet meal over here.
But these experiences he's talking about cannot be replicated so frequently, and a lot of the talent is like in random places, and stuff takes time to make. You know, like game development's taking longer to make and longer to do R&D, and have that as part of like money mismanagement, business management, whatever from the company. Sometimes they go for like a too realistic art style. Sometimes they can't afford to take risks because they want to make money back on their investment. They want to make sure everyone buys the game. Whatever. There's all these risks that if it's not a proven strategy, they can't take sometimes. And that's why you have like that's why the indie games are more successful. Even though they've been successful for like years. Because they're a smaller team that are more capable of taking risks and are able to stand on their own by making games. Sometimes they do have to crowdfund their game. Sometimes they have to make certain deals with other companies. Sometimes they have to have a smaller budget sometimes. Like, there's all these other caveats to these games. Like, that's why like Hades 1 and 2 probably didn't come out on console this quickly, because probably they didn't have the money to do these ports that efficiently. They probably were like, well, we can afford to do like Steam and Switch, and then like we can like work on Xbox and PlayStation later. Like, because they don't have the manpower to code these games for like 4 different consoles.
That's a life-changing experience. And for the record, it's for the same price tag. $70 game here, $70 game there.
But what's the budget? Like, this is the other pitfall that people kind of fall into, and it's not like, it's not crazy, but a lot of the times the price tag you're paying for isn't for like the quantity or the quality of the game. It's just simply because of the budget that is required to make the game and what they feel they can sell it with. Because if the budget's big enough, they can't sell the game for $20. They're not going to make their money back. 70 is like, yeah, we may be losing money, but we may be able to make the money back with this amount versus $20, for example.
I'd much rather play a 12 to 20 hour game that's a resonating once-in-a-lifetime experience that's truly original than play a 200-hour slop game that costs the same amount of money.
But again, like, this is like really like childish, because life-changing game, whatever the fuck, these are not easy games to make. And the other thing is, like, he skipped Romeo is a Dead Man, thank God, by the way, as I said many times. But that game is also really deep and meaningful. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in the story that I don't know if I understood it on my first playthrough. Like, there's this stuff there that is like very like subtle to me or whatever. Like, it's interesting. It's an interesting game. But these people never know, because he thinks all Studio 51 does is dick and boob jokes. But that's not his style at all. But since DSP is a fucking dumb fuck, he would never know. He will never know the true quality of a Studio 51 game, because he's a fucking idiot. He just thinks, oh, all Studio does is talk about boobs. And that's not his games at all. If you've been paying attention to his fucking games.
Money. That's my opinion. You disagree? That's okay. We agree to disagree. But I'm telling you, this is where it's coming from. This is why a game like this, I just can't really enjoy. I'd much rather play anything else right now than Crimson Desert. All right?
So why can't you just say that? Like, why do we have to have this segment of him saying that games are are suffering because of this. Like, and it's funny. All these games that he doesn't like, they are all endangering the medium. But the games he likes are all great and fantastic. Unless it's like a big enough meme to hate on, like yellow paint, that he will join in, but he will also not genuinely believe, because he does like yellow paint. He just knows that it's dogged on, so he joins in so he can seem like a gamer. He cares more about seeming like a gamer than a fake fuck, but that's the biggest fake thing you can do. It's the biggest tell, honestly. When you care more about how you look as a gamer than being a gamer. You know what I'm saying?
So I hope this makes sense. And by the way, if you like Old Country Buffet, I hope I haven't offended you. I've been there too, and I had a...
This is Christian mode, by the way. Right. This thing. When I heard this, it was just, yeah. This is something Christian would say. Like, this is the most Christian coded thing. Like, to go through all of that and then go back to the hometown buffet thing and be like, I hope you offended. That's a fucking Christian thing, if I've ever seen one.
I had a couple good experiences at the place. I've also had some bad experiences at the place, because at the end of the day, it's all just heat lamp food.
So you had good experiences, but then you also had bad experiences. But Phil, it's slop. You said it's slop, and it doesn't matter because people only like it because it's cheap. Like, come on, man.
And I think that's the point I'm trying to make about Crimson Desert. Even though you might like some of the things in there and how much you're getting, at the end of the day, it's just overcooked garbage.
But at the end of the day, with any game, it's a waste of time. Like, you can reduce anything to that degree if you really want to. I mean, like, come on.
It's not good for you. Nor is it good for gaming as a whole. And if we keep fooling ourselves into thinking it is, you're going to get a million Crimson Desert clones, and you're not going to have those good experiences that we had from yesteryear.
Yesteryear! Like,
and if we keep fooling ourselves into thinking it is...
So if you like the game, you're fooling yourself. Like, again, this is just paranoia. Gamer paranoia. Like it's so... I've never seen anyone fearmonger a game success like this ever. The only time I've seen this is, like, honestly, the most you get when you see other gamers talk like this, it arguably, comparatively, it's more reasonable. Like just straight up, because when people like talk like this, they're only talking about people who are supporting like microtransactions, pre-orders, stuff like that, because that at least is a tangible like understanding of, like, yeah, if you do support this, you are showing that there is like money to be made. When you compare it to something like buying a game and saying it's good, it's really stupid. I'm sorry, I have this drawing on this wall that I made years ago, and it's every day I look at it, it's like, oh my god, how bad it looks is like throwing me off. Like, oh my god, dude. And I got this framed, and I was so proud of it, and now I hate it. Oh my god, it's so annoying. It's like it's a drawing of all these characters. I think I had a picture of it somewhere, but there's Anatomy of Hagar that's terrible. It's so bad. Like, it looks like he dislocated his arm. Every time I look at the monitor and my eye just goes up, I see that, and it pisses me off. It pisses me the fuck off. Oh my god. God damn. But yeah, he talks about the success of a game ending gaming. That's not what happens. If that's the case, then wouldn't there be more good games? Like, there's a lot of good movies out there. Like, I was listening to this interview with the guy who did Beef, that's on Netflix. And season 1 was like a success for Netflix. Netflix was happy with it, and it was great. And this guy could not get on. He was pitching so many other shows after that, and they were all getting turned down. And they're like, okay, do Beef season 2. And it's like, okay, like that's basically what happened. People liked Beef season 1, and that still was not enough to get to have this guy get another show, because as I said, the CEOs or whoever in charge, they don't want what they want. They just want something that they think is going to be more marketable, that will make more money, and something that's safe or whatever. So yeah, people can love Crimson Desert all the way to the cows come home. At the end of the day, the CEOs will not care because they will not think that's what the market is. I mean, why do you think people dogged on that EA CEO saying, yeah, single player games are gonna die out and multiplayer games is the future? Like, you have Jim Ryan saying shit like, I don't know what he said, but he said a lot of dumb shit. Like, he really laid off someone from in the Japan studio because he wasn't listening to him. Like, these CEOs will always make the wrong decision, and the wrong lesson will always be learned. Which is why I say, like, the idea of, like, oh, if you stop buying this, they're gonna be forced to make something good. No, they'll just say, yeah, nobody wants this anymore, let's not make it anymore. Like, that's why we'll never see a new Darkstalkers game, because none of the remaster that they released years ago didn't sell, so Capcom was like, yeah, we don't need to make a new Darkstalkers. Fuck that. Let's stick with Street Fighter and maybe a versus Capcom game if we're bored. But, like, that's why they're focused on Street Fighter, because they don't want to, like, fucking rock the boat.
You're going to get a million Crimson Desert clones, and you're not going to have those good experiences that we had from yesteryear.
Well, I hate yesteryear. This dude talks like a fucking boomer. It's insane. But, come on. There's no other meaningful experiences? This dude played a Marvel game, and cried. And then he played, like, another game that was, like, kind of emotional, and he didn't cry at all for it. But Marvel, oh my god, oh Marvel, oh. Cried all the time. But, like, man, I wish I remembered the game. Oh, what was it? I don't fucking know, but come on.
That's the bottom line. All right.
And then, like, we're playing Pragmata, and a lot of people are having a meaningful time because of the relationship and dynamic between Diana and the main character. I do like their dynamic. My gripe, I think everyone's talking too much about Diana, because I didn't give a fuck. It's like, okay, this is like a child like AI, probably for whatever reason, blah blah blah. I didn't care. It's not a character, but the thing I was hung up on is Hugh. Hugh, the beginning of the game, I don't like kids, I am not good with kids, I don't want kids, fuck kids, blah blah blah. He sees Diana, instantly, he's like, I'm a dad, I know how it is to be a dad. And it's like, it's a little too perfect. Like, it's like, no, you need to be awkward. Like, not quirky awkward, but just like, he knows that this is an AI and all this stuff, and I want to say this was the same guy that said, like, I don't trust these robots and all this other shit. And I'm like, yeah, where is this personality? He sees Diana and says, yeah, you're a robot, okay, man, he's just talking to her like a child. Like, when did this happen? Like, it's not even earned. It's not even earned. Yeah, I said nobody is talking about this, and I feel like I'm insane. That I don't think that Hugh's character makes sense in how he's talking to Diana at all. Like, it makes no sense. Like, dude, that's a robot. You don't want kids. You don't like kids. You're not a kid guy, and you're just like talking as if you've had kids before. Like, it's hard to believe. It's like, come on, man. Like, that's not believable. Kratos, like, I know it's dumb, but there was more reason to be like, damn, Kratos. Like, because Kratos had more awkward moments where he's like, yeah, just Han. Like, he doesn't know how to venture through, like, the tender moments. The Ragnarok is whatever. I don't give a fuck about that. But, like, 2018 at least made sense. Like, it felt a little earned by the end when, like, Atreus and, like, Kratos got better, right? But he was just off the bat, like, yeah, man, like, I get it. It's like, what the fuck? Like, where did this come from? But nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about you. It's just talking about political shit.
Okay, well, now there's an incredible amount of shout-outs that I have to do. Thank you for allowing me to get through what I've been to, but they could all be troll. Who knows? So
there's other stuff in this that's also like worth talking about.
Here it is. So Jay Freeze Bees did a $5 super chat, and he says, "Yes, nothing stays relevant forever. Tell us more basic stuff." We're
That is true. Nothing stays relevant forever. Just like his own streams. Think about it. Like, his streams are so dated. Because, like, once you notice pop culture shit being referenced in his speech, you know it's dated. Like, he doubled down a lot on Barbie shit when Barbie came out, the movie, and all this stuff. Like, that's when you know it's dated. Like years from now, when you watch these old ass LTG rants and he starts talking a lot about Barbie, you're like, yeah, Barbie came out that year. That's why he talked about it. Like, things don't stay relevant very long.
We're all little kids, not adults. It's like,
this guy, like, man, he doesn't need to give money to do this. Like, you really just need to listen to the rants. Like, this is the thing a lot of people I fall into. When he's not ranting or, like, tilted like he was during that, you don't need to give him money. He'll read your post. But when you try to do these kind of trolls, when he's like, okay, guys, so today we're gonna play Pragmata. Then tonight when he's doing like the schedule and you start trying to get rants like this, that's super easy to ignore you. Like, you really just kind of have to know the tone of the rant. You know, once you see where it's going, you can easily get his attention.
It's like listening to my mom. You're here listening. You chose to be here.
Oh my god, he is like really not I don't know if it's just he clearly doesn't understand what he read, or he is just willfully ignoring and misconstruing what he's saying. Because he's not saying that he's forced to be there. It's just he's saying what you're saying is so basic and like condescending that it's like being talked down to. Because that's how DSP talks to his audience. He talks to them like they're fucking dumb fucks. Like, that's how he talks to them. Like, you literally have segments of him stopping, like, oh, so you don't, okay guys, should I show you how to use my channel? Okay. And it's like, dude, these people have been on YouTube for years. Like, you don't think that you know how to use YouTube?
You're not tied to a chair. No one's forcing. You're not a hostage. If you don't like my opinions on my podcast where I give my opinions, you can leave. Are you aware of this? Maybe you didn't know that. Here's the thing.
The other thing is, like, some of these people that say these good points, unfortunately, a lot of them comes from LARPers or people who are, you know, whatever, right? Because, like, these are not, like if, Eva Cowboy Fan or, Jade or whatever, said shit like this to him, he may take a little, he may react a little bit differently, but he reads this, let's say that the same username who tipped, like, said this in his, like, chat or whatever, he'll just say, yeah, this is a new chatter, you know, whatever, he's probably a troll. Like, it's easy to say that it's a troll. Like, you really kind of have to be a genuine, like, long time dent to really go by the troll filter. Because I don't know how long you have to be in his chat to have a valid opinion. Like, I don't know what he would consider. And you would have to, like, LARP pretty well. Like, you need to be Marl 2.0. Like, you would have to create a whole identity. Be a DSP fan, deal with trolls calling you a dent for however long, and then like, slip off the mask. But you run the risk of, like, you know, you play the LARP long enough, you'll either become dented or, I don't know, you get fucked up. like you'll either be banned a troll because you either not make it long enough, or you'll become a dent. Like, it's a scary game. Like, it's a scary game to play.
Thing, you can actually leave the content you don't like, and you can watch content you do. You have freedom to do that. It's amazing. It's called free will.
But this is him basically telling him, like, yeah, if you don't want my take, just leave, and I can have my take, and you can ignore it. But how come, like, he can have these takes and he should be left alone, but like this is really like, you listen to a leader, and the leader's like saying, like, we need to be careful what this other group of people are doing, and we need to be careful of them. And then when people are like, hey man, this sounds a little fucked up, you're like, dude, I'm just saying stuff. You don't have to listen. Just change the channel. Calm down. It's like, what? What the fuck? That is a bit of an extreme example, but come on.
Let's see here. Upgrade did a $10 super chat, and he says, is it possible you just aren't good at the game instead of saying it sucks? It has 57 positive reviews on Steam for a reason. You saying it sucks make you sound like a crybaby. Did you hear what I said about the game?
Yeah, did you hear what I said? These people don't know what a good game is, dumb fuck. Even though, like, the quality of how you play a game may differ, and people may have different preferences and all this other stuff. Like, let's see how he defends this.
I said there's things about the game I absolutely like, for sure, 100.
Okay, but your main complaint was the combat. It's very obvious he's saying that maybe you suck at the combat, and that's why you didn't like the combat. Again, he needs yellow paint in your criticisms, because, like, come on.
100%, there's things I really like about the game. It doesn't overall stink. But if one of the core gameplay elements, the combat, is very, very generic, isn't nearly as good as the combat of most games that I play. I mean, there's games I played over a decade ago, like Shadow of Mordor, okay? The combat of that game is far better than this game, okay? Early FromSoft game combat is better than this game. It is. All right? Now, you can disagree, and again, that's okay. But for you to discount my opinion because you disagree without justification means that your opinion is invalid. You have to justify.
But he's not talking about your gameplay in those games. He's saying that maybe you just suck at the game. Like, yeah, I suck at Guilty Gear. Does that mean? And I played other fighting games too. Like, I wouldn't say just because I played other fighting games and maybe I like one fighting game over another doesn't mean that, like, maybe Strive does have bad combat. I wouldn't know. I enjoy Strive. I like Strive, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. You know what I'm saying, dog?
Justify what you're saying. And every time that I ask people, what is it about the combat of Crimson Desert that's so good, I don't get any answers. I get crickets. I say, nothing. Instead, I hear, oh, just get good. Get good without explaining what I'm missing.
Because it's hard to explain. Like, I guess you could say, I mean, the thing is, that's very frustrating with DSP is that, like, you could give it you could play a game. Like, he plays Devil May Cry. He played Devil May Cry 5, right? There's so many weapons in the game. There's so many ways to use the weapons and this and that. He's not... No, actually, a better example, because he compared it to Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm going to use Tears of the Kingdom, dude. You play Tears of the Kingdom, the game allows you to create anything in the game. Like, you can create a car, you can create a mech, you can create whatever. And you can use the physics engine to do all kinds of stuff. Like, there's stuff that works with the elementals. Like, it's not just like, oh, building and gluing stuff together, but you can also use fire, ice, whatever. Like, there's a lot of things in the game that leave you to your devices that you can make stuff. And DSP just didn't want to participate in that, and was like, I just want to make sword. I want sword. I want shield. Like, he never did anything interesting with the gear that was there. Never tried anything different. Didn't try to use the batteries in any meaningful way. Like, he didn't even want to make a car, basically. And this dude will sit there and tell you, like, what am I supposed to do in Crimson Desert? dude, like, you're supposed to, like, just experiment with the combat you learned. Like, you can't tell someone how to play a game. Like, are you gonna someone should like, hey man, I see you playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, what you need to do if you really want to enjoy the game, build a like. Because there's no one way to enjoy a game. Like, what if I want to go to like the final boss in Tears of the Kingdom, uh, without leveling my gear, or I want to go straight to Ganon or whatever. Like, that's something I want to do, right? Like, he's not understanding that it's so open that there's no other way to play this game. Oh my god, 3 hours into the 3 hour video.
Thanks for $10, but until you're going to explain to me how I'm misunderstanding this insanely great and complex combat engine, your point is moot.
This is a long video.
But thanks for your money. Let's see here. Cyber Devil did an €11 super chat. He says, Phil, calm down. Crimson Desert sucks. Now take this. Well, thank you, Cyber Devil. I appreciate that.
Oh, I bet you do.
That's €11. That's $12.88. And
Gatorade is a fucking
that's the
dumb
new top
fuck.
super chat. So thank you, Cyber Devil.
Listen to this. Steve's gonna read it soon. It's a dumb super chat. This guy's an idiot. I'm convinced he's an idiot, but he is a DSP fan, so it makes sense.
The whole darn world did a €2 super chat and says, 17th 2-hour rant from someone who values time. It's a podcast. Do you not understand what a podcast is? It's where you talk about.
Yeah, but he's saying you're doing the same rant they ranted about before. Like, yeah, it's a podcast, but how enjoyable is a podcast if they talk about the same thing 17 times? Like, this is what he accuses, like, the DSP Detractor podcast. They only talk about me every podcast.
About topics.
Topics!
Yes, a lot of people value this time. You want to know how I know? Because I have more attendance right now on this podcast than I've had of any game I played this week.
Okay, we're just moving on.
You don't have to be here. It says, don't forget when Hollow Knight came out, everyone decided to make a Metroidvania. Elden Ring comes out, every dev wants to make a Souls-like. Exactly right.
That's not true. There were Metroidvanias before Hollow Knight was even released. Hello? Where do you think Hollow Knight's inspiration came from, dumb fuck? Secondly, Elden Ring. People are making FromSoft clones since Demon Souls. Like, these things have existed way before these games.
They all chase trends.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that there is no value in a game like Crimson Desert. There is. The value is quantity over quality. It's eating at an all-you-can-eat buffet of slop, but none of it really is good food. It's just unlimited slop. And if you're okay with unlimited slop, by all means enjoy, but don't tell everyone that Old Country Buffet is the best fucking restaurant on the planet. It's factually wrong. Okay? It really is. But you want to be there with your fan group and your tunnel vision group.
Oh my god, dude, this is like someone saying, okay, here's this dumb fuck analogy. It's like someone saying, yeah, man, I like hometown buffet. It's actually pretty tasty. I love the mac and cheese. It's pretty good. And they're like, oh my god, why are you saying it's the best thing ever? You're ruining restaurants, dumb fuck. You're an idiot. Why are you ruining restaurants? And the guy's gonna think you're insane. You're gonna be like, jeez, dude, calm down. I'm just saying I really like hometown buffet. Let me fucking eat my mac and cheese, bitch.
Best game ever, best game ever, best game ever. It's not.
And again, he is freaking out over like the honeymoon phase of a game. Like, we don't even.
Someone tipped $2. It says,
if you were saying this for a year, okay, maybe there's something wrong there. If the game is truly not that good, right? But the game just came out. Of course, people are gonna say it's good right now. Like, come on.
Do whatever you want. Roaming around, leveling up, getting new gear sounds like an MMO to me. Funny thing is, the game would be better if it was just an MMO. Imagine working together to take down these bosses with friends. Crimson
Desert, god, great
play the game. You know that these people made an MMO. Like, literally, all the pieces of the game are taken from an MMO and just taped together. They really are.
I guarantee if this game, let's say it didn't feel like an MMO and it was its own game and it sucked ass, he would say, these guys made a good MMO. Why doesn't he take the stuff that's good and make a game with it? And then they do that, and now it's bad that they do that. Right. Cool.
Ava Cowboy fan tipped the buck and says, I couldn't agree more. I feel like it's harder to find good quality games nowadays compared to back then. Dead Rising up to 3 was really good. Nowadays, games seem to focus more on money than quality. Thank you, Ava Cowboy fan.
Wow, you got a non-answer. And it's even funnier, he's dangling another game over Ava Cowboy's head.
There's another $2 tip.
Maybe I'll play
I don't know if you know the ship of Theseus theory. If all...
Okay. Yeah, we're not listening to that.
Night. I'm more into story-based games with good gameplay. Even a game like Metal Gear Solid 4, which is a movie game, felt more artistic and original than a lot of games today. Do you plan on playing the remaster of Metal Gear Solid 4? Probably. Although, if I do play that, people have got to be ready for insanely long cutscenes.
I don't think he's gonna play that. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think he's gonna play it. This is gonna be a game he's gonna dangle and pretend he's gonna play and all this shit. Then when the time comes to play it and boot it up, he's just not gonna play it. There's gonna be a magic game that's gonna come out to derail it. I guarantee it. Even though he should play that game and Peace Walker, but he won't.
That we're just gonna be sitting and watching together, because that game has the longest cutscenes in history. It actually has, what is it, 90 minutes?
No, actually it doesn't. I think Death Stranding has it beat because I think that has a 2-hour cutscene or a 2-hour ending or some shit.
And I think the end of the game is a 90-minute cutscene. It's pretty insane.
Okay. But it's meaningful. It's a meaningful cutscene.
I just got a $2 tip.
I love. Oh my god, it's so funny. He sits there and it's like, yeah, there's nothing meaningful about the story in Crimson Desert. It's stupid. MGS4 has meaningful story. Oh, I don't know if we're gonna watch. It's too long.
Listen to this one. Might be a hot take. I think Witcher 3 ruined gaming. As gaming as it is, it introduced. Oh, as amazing as it is, it introduced a really bad habit of mass and open worlds full of random filler content.
I mean, I kind of know what he means, but
open worlds as standard. If you remember,
I just think it's
all of the side content feels meaningful. Like if you're doing that's great writing, that's great game development. That means you're immersed in the universe. Sometimes you'll be doing a side quest for 5 hours and realize, oh, it was just a side quest. That actually wasn't the story. Like, oh shit, really? That's great writing, that's great game development. That means you're immersed in the universe, right? As opposed to in Crimson Desert, yeah, there's a million things to do, but who cares? Once you do them all, they're meaningless. They don't affect anything. Oh, you got another Abyss core to level up generically again. Oh, gee, thanks. That's the whole game.
Where is the RPG take? I want the RPG take. Show me the RPG take.
Ava Cowboy fan tipped another $1. Based off of what I've seen, popular doesn't always mean good. I haven't played Crimson Desert. A mild example would be Zelda games. I prefer older Zeldas, like Wind Waker or Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, Wind Waker over Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, which lacked a stronger narrative, in my opinion. Yeah, for me, here's the thing about both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I made the same point on both games.
Yeah, he hates Nintendo, so it's all
those
good.
games,
oh my god,
at face value for the base story and dungeons and things, they're actually quite good. They are. And I really liked it, especially Breath of the Wild, how you could just look out in the world and you could see this thing going on. Remember there was a giant monster sitting on the volcano? That's a freaking dungeon that you're actually going to go in later. That's pretty dope.
Whatever,
right?
Okay.
But those games are full of bloat. They are. There's a ton of stuff in them that you never have to do, and they have no purpose.
They do have a purpose. If you want to make good gear, like, half the time, it's like, you're weak as shit. You have to go do this. Like, this is dumb. Because, again, meaningful is very subjective, and it's a very ambiguous meaning. Like it's so stupid. Which is why it's like a meme that DSP says, oh, my content's meaningful, and then he gets asked, what's so meaningful about your content? And he's like, we talk. Whoa!
For example, I distinctly remember in Tears of the Kingdom, there were giant bosses just outside. Remember the giant dragon with multiple heads just sitting on a bridge? And I could see it from afar, and I'm like, oh god, I might eventually fight that. That looks interesting. You never do.
Yeah, and this is another example. He's saying, basically, yeah, there's this, and then, like, he's not forced to fight it, so why would he fight it? That's what's so dumb. That he said before, yeah, if you do side missions, that means you're immersed. But, like, also being immersed means, like, you're exploring a world. You see a 3-headed dragon, you're like, damn, I want to fight that. Like, that is like part of being immersed in the game, which he wasn't with Zelda at all. Because like they threw these enemies around because it's like, yeah, you're supposed to be like intrigued by it. Like you're supposed, like they said like, oh, you're supposed to have this childlike wonder when you're like exploring a forest and you see a weird tree. You're like, oh, I want to see what's going on with that tree or whatever the fuck. Like it's supposed to tap into that like side of your curiosity that DSP doesn't have. He wants the game to be like, okay, Link, there's a 3-headed dragon on the bridge. You have to kill it, okay? We want to cross the bridge. And Link's like, okay. Then that's meaningful. But if you just leave it there and you don't how is DSP supposed to know he's supposed to be curious? Like, he doesn't even know when he's supposed to be curious. A thing that you as a human is supposed to feel naturally.
It's just there.
If DSP was a caveman, back when like man was supposed to invent fire, we would never evolve as a species. We would be extinct because he would just sit there and be like, just staring at a cave. He wouldn't know what to do. He'd be like, what? A bear? What? An animal? I don't know. My stomach hurts. I don't know what that means. I don't know. What's my stomach telling me? Even if he would know if that's his stomach, he'd be confused and die, and then the world would keep on turning without humans, because he'd be the end of civilization, because he doesn't even know anything. No curiosity.
For what reason? Now, eventually, if you fight it, I'm sure you could probably get an upgrade or something. Who cares? You don't need it. It's not needed for the game. So they put it all this optional crap, but it has no meaning.
Yeah, you have to be
So I think what happens.
So then when a game developer decides, okay, we're going to force the gamer to do this because so to show how meaningful it is, he'll say, this is stupid. Why am I forced to do this? I know how to do this. And then it was like, okay, well, let's make it optional. Why is it optional? Lose-lose situation.
What happened is Crimson Desert looked at that and said, that's our game. Like, we don't even have the core story or anything of Tears of the Kingdom. The entire game is just the optional shit you don't need to do. That's Crimson Desert.
But what if just people like doing that? They like exploring a game.
I got another $2 tip. I noticed it usually goes original game with original idea, then someone copies it and improves that formula and it becomes a hit, then there become all the copycats. So with Battle Royale, you had PUBG, which was the original, Fortnite was more successful, then come all the copycats. But Battle Royale is pretty unique because Battle Royale found incredible levels of success as a PC exclusive genre for a long time, right? Didn't it start with DayZ? I want to say it all started with PUBG. And what was the other one? Because I played the other.
I don't care about this.
For a long time, like 5 years, right? And then all of a sudden, to milk this formula further. So now all of a sudden, PUBG started likely to dry up on PC only. And they said, we got to start. Is it Arma? Is that what it was? Arma? Okay. They said, we got to start finding a way to milk this formula further. So now all of a sudden, PUBG gets ported to Xbox One. And they start advertising it heavily, even though the game plays like utter shit on Xbox One. They got to push it because this is their expose it to a bigger crowd, right? And then you have a company like Epic Games that's going to come out with this game Fortnite that's about surviving a fortnight against a zombie invasion and a tower defense. And they're looking all around them at the climate and they're like, dude, we got to jump on this bandwagon and we have an exclusive opportunity because we're going to make our game cross-platform. It's going to be PC, but also on these other things as well.
Multi-platform.
And they bit
it keeps whatever
right at the right time. Boom. And they became the culturally relevant one. While all those other games were very popular exclusively on PC, it was Fortnite that became the cross-platform success that hooked kids. And boom, now everyone wants to be Fortnite. You're right. That's how it happened.
Yeah, they wanted to hook kids, not gamers. Whatever. Okay.
I got another $2 tip. I think the current trend in Soulsborne games, I remember being really overwhelmed by the bombardment of Soulsborne clones at Summer Game Fest 2025. It was just so constant. The next trend is Metroidvania. Trust me on that one. Well, we had Hollow Knight, and we had Metroidvanias, and then it died down, and now we have Silksong. So now with the success of Silksong, you may see everyone jumping on that. I'm also curious about this one. What about Expedition 33, right? Because I don't think anyone really saw that one coming as the...
It's so funny. I'm so glad we did this. This is going to be worth the 4 hours,
it was going to be. And now that it's such a ginormous success, I wonder if you're going to see tons of gameplay studios coming out with turn-based RPGs. I mean,
it's funny he says this because wasn't Final Fantasy a big game for turn-based RPGs? And again, turn-based RPGs are still being made, but guess what? Guess what? There was a segment in DSP's content where he was bitching about RPGs. Oh my god, RPG overload! We have all these RPGs, guys. It's cannibalizing. And now it's like, where are the RPGs? Xenoblade 33 was a success. So was Persona 5. And then we got Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon, I think it was always gonna be planned to be an RPG though, so it's whatever. Like, all these RPGs have come out. Again, these people are fucking Neanderthals that are not, like, in touch. Because first I was saying Metroidvania is gonna be the next fad, is that there has been Metroidvanias for years. Like, these games have been made so many times. Like, come on.
I mean, that would be insane if we just get bombarded with turn-based RPGs now. And I'm not just talking from like Japan, because Japan always makes turn-based RPGs, but I'm talking like all different like styles of turn-based RPGs. That would be insane, but we haven't heard about many or any.
But you
right?
hate that. Dude, he says this, but there's so many turn-based games, even in the indie scene, that he watched and was like, I don't know about this. Like, I'm about to say Omni. Amori? I don't know. I don't know if that's the one. The one that had the rabbit guy? I don't fucking know. I want to say it's Amori. That's like, Earthbound or Mother or whatever, right? Like, there was that game that he watched, and he's like, maybe I'll play it. They never played it. Someone also showed him a weird RPG that he decided not to play that's turn-based. Eugenics is turn-based. He didn't want to he played that, like, for 2 times and said no more. Like, there's been so many RPGs that are so different from each other. As I even mentioned, Demon School is one of them. That's also an RPG that's different and unique because it's like a puzzle. It's a puzzle combat game. That's challenging if you really want to go for the top marks in the combat. All this stuff. Like, there's all these turn-based RPGs that this guy is so unaware of. Indivisible is a turn-based RPG as well. Hasn't played it. Like, come on.
It was actually a rarity when we heard about Expedition 33. What? They're making a turn-based RPG, and it's not like anime-ish, and it doesn't have that Japanese flair. It's more like European.
Anime-ish. Oh, man. Okay.
It's very interesting. So I wonder if we're going to see variations on that now. Yeah, Western RPGs rather than Japanese RPGs. But they're not action-based, they're turn-based. I got another $2 tip. Other innovators from that era, Quantic Dream Games with cinematic games, Telltale in the episodic formula.
Really? Quantic Dreams is innovative? I don't know about that. They had like maybe one game in the PS2 era that was like that. I don't remember the name of it. I want to say I keep wanting to call it Minority Report, but it's not that. There was that game, and then Heavy Rain, which was PS3. Like and these are like whatever. Okay.
Arkham games and the free-flowing combat of them. Infamous in the open world environment. Infamous and Prototype doing open worlds better than most modern games do open world.
Oh my god, I love that he's like, yeah, man, open world games. Witcher 3 made it popular, even though like open world games have been popular for years. Like GTA did popularize it, and that's where it ended up. Like, look at Infamous and all that, right? Come on.
Open world right now. Yeah, you're right. Like, it's crazy because I think back to when Infamous 1 and 2 came out, and again, it was like when these companies came out with these games, you knew that they were going to be bangers, right? They're going to be ginormous hits. They are going to resonate with a wide audience. They're going to be worth your money. Tons of gameplay, great story, great graphics, innovative, unique, memorable experiences.
Oh my god,
much rather play.
People were dogging on Infamous because it was so much like Prototype, and Prototype was so much like Infamous that it was so generic. Like, it was really why Mega 64 made that video, Magic City Man. Because these were just like, he's a guy with powers in a city. Like, Because it's like, that's all it was. It's just a dude with powers in a city.
Either Infamous than Crimson Desert. I would rather go back and play Shadow of Mordor than Crimson Desert. You know what I'm saying? Like, the games from that first 8 years I was a creator are like exponentially better.
So Phil, what is the story of Shadow of Mordor? Even though I think it's not part of Lord of the Rings, so he may say, well, it's about when the rings were being forged or whatever the fuck. I'd never played Shadows of Mordor.
Than the new games we're getting today that everyone is saying are game of the year. It kills me.
It kills me.
Stuart, how are you? 20 months as a member. He says roguelikes are the current trend. It's one of the trends. For sure, I will agree there. The roguelikes are one of the trends that we're currently experiencing.
There's all these trends. Like, I love that we're acting as if trends are like one singular thing. Oh my god, these people are fucking dumb fucks. It's like, yeah, man, yeah, roguelikes, they're a trend. Yeah, that's like, are we just calling genres trends now? They're just listing genres.
Experiencing that everyone wants to jump in a variation of a roguelike, right? I mean, hell, one of the new games that I want to play next week, Vampire Crawlers, is a roguelike. So I hear you.
Because as I said, I think if you're talking about destructive force in gaming, it's just live service games and
no, Crimson Desert is not coming back. We're done. Like,
okay, we're done.
Not fun to play. The audience was completely time on it. There's 20 plus hours into a game and it hasn't even hit its stride yet, and it's still boring. That's enough.
Again, he says this, but you could say this about turn-based RPGs, and he'll tell you you're entitled and you're an idiot who seeks instant gratification, unlike Phil.
Wasted time. You know what kills me? I got people leaving comments on my videos. I'm not even kidding you. So after 60 hours of Crimson Desert, I'm finally done with the game. I finally determined I'm not going to spend any more time on it. 60 hours? That's a lot of wasted time. You wasted...
Well, I mean, you are wasting time when you boot up a game. The second you turn on a PlayStation, you're wasting time. You're wasting time.
60 hours on this game before you decided you weren't going to play it anymore? Like, yikes. Think of all the other shit you could have been doing with your time. You know? Damn.
Oh my god, fake ska.
The new Yoshi game has an incredible art style. Would I play it? Does it? What's the new Yoshi game? When does it come out?
He watched the direct
what's it
about
this.
Let's
look it up right now.
Oh my god, he's gonna shit on it. He's like, oh, they talk to you like you're babies. Yeah, damn, man, it's almost like it's a Nintendo game, and they also want to play whatever. Let's go through some of these comments. He only replied to one, I think, which is not really worth reading, to be honest. This game literally did nothing different from what we've seen from open world games years ago. Not inspired by straight up copy paste. If you told me ChatGPT made this gene, I'd believe it. Strap a Ubisoft logo, and okay, this is saying that, but they patched it, so people went from being angry to oh my god, the devs listen to us. And the game in between time, IGN killed it, and we hate IGN, so it turned into the weird version of cult following just to stick to IGN. I'ma be honest, I straight up don't. This is kind of weird because they're just happy that it's. Because if they're happy that the devs listen to us, why are they talking about IGN? I think this guy is just kind of conflating the two and thinking that they're doing it to stick to IGN, but I don't think they are. But okay. The world is wide, and there are many crazy people. Who knows what he's talking about? Well, the buffet analogy was actually no, it wasn't. This guy's an idiot. You get this like dumbass, stupid fuck. When he thought DSP couldn't get any dumber, and the replies, I guess the replies got banned. Oh boy, here we go again. Came for the dislike ratio, not disappointed. Okay. Yeah, those are the comments, but what did he say in the Daily WAP? This is where we'll end it. Where we'll end it, guys.
20 hours. I'm never going to like it more. I want to play other games. I've moved on. But I wanted to summarize my overall thoughts. So here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
I kept saying over and over, we can agree to disagree if you like this game. You know, people who don't like, or people who like this game, it's not like they're stupid or anything. I kept saying stuff like that.
But he kept saying that they like slop. Like, again, if he just said, yeah, I didn't like Crimson Desert, I thought the combat was repetitive, it didn't really click with me, and I was bored, so I don't like the game, and I don't think I'll go back to it. If he just left it at that, and people were still giving him shit, fine. He can say this, and he'd be like, yeah, okay. I mean, people may still say something about it, but it would be more like, okay. But instead, we get, yeah, guys, you don't know how good games were. People have never played a good game before. They don't know what anything is, and now when they're saying it's a good game, they're actually ruining gaming as a whole. And then he's saying, I just said it's okay for them to like it. Yeah, but you also said that they shouldn't say it's good out loud, basically.
People are still offended that I do not like this game.
Again, I love that every time you disagree, you're just automatically offended. Automatically. It's the same thing with like the State of Decay thing. Even though he said he was in the wrong and then he went back on it, I rant about that all the time because it's dumb.
I don't know what else to say. Don't ask me why. I don't know what else I could possibly do. I mean, I have a right to not like it as long as I justify my reasons. And today I tried to justify them as well as I could.
Again, this is like a Christian level understanding of justifying. He thinks that justifying means that, like, I don't know, like, because you don't need to justify it that hard, I guess. Because he was extrapolating a lot and, like, spiraling into random fear-mongering segments like, oh my god, guys, people are saying that they like the game, and now devs may make more of it. And I don't like this game, and I don't want more games to be made like this. When this is like that's the most nonsensical thing to, like, come on. It's like, yeah, live service games, there's a lot of live service games. That doesn't mean there's no other game out there. Like, it's really just like, you're just crying about Call of Duty every year, ignoring actual games. Which, he has joined in on that, by the way, because he started liking indie games. Even though he plays, like, fucking indie slop, like, fucking simulator games that are not even fun. I'm sorry. Rental Game Land and Driving Sim. These games, I just think that these are the slop. They serve a purpose. I'll give Truck Sim that, and same with Flight Sim. But when DSP plays it, it's just purely for slop reasons. Like, it's just things to put on and we don't have to do anything. It's just a pure fill time game, and which, that's how he markets it. Yeah, these are just games I play when there's no other game to play. Like, there's nothing meaningful, it's just slop.
And I used a pretty interesting comparison / analogy when I actually did this, and I think people liked it. They thought it was funny and interesting.
Oh my god, podcast, give it is so cringe to brag about analogies. Like, damn, man, it's like, yeah, man, guys, I say stuff, and then I compare it to Guilty Gear because I like Guilty Gear, right? And I think a lot of people think it's funny and they love it. They love my Guilty Gear takes. They love it when I talk about it. Like, oh my god, dude. Don't choke on it when you're talking. Come on.
Look, however, FYI, this is going to be my big edited video for the week. As you know, I've been making edited videos for the channel. And so this review will be edited with other footage interposed, with other things in there to make it more interesting. And it will be a digestible clip that will go live on the channel. If not tonight, probably tomorrow. My editor's actually working on it right now. So whenever it finishes.
I love that this guy, I don't remember if I said in the last video, I want to say I did. But I love that he couldn't pay people to make banners for him or whatever. Like, that's impossible. He was yelling at his audience, I can't pay people to do this. I got trolls. But he can suddenly pay an editor now. Okay. And I love he's like, I can pay them now. You could always pay them. Shut up.
You'll be able to watch it, and I think it's going to be pretty entertaining, whether you like Crimson Desert or not. I just hope that people can agree to disagree, because I do. Like, I get it. If you like Crimson Desert, have at it. But I got to tell you my thoughts on it, right?
Yeah, I got to tell you, if you go online and you say it's your game of the year, you're going to ruin gaming. Okay? So if you like the game, keep it to yourself. Let the people who hate the game say it loud and proud. That way, the game dev may also hear us and then not make the game anymore. And if you like it, well, too bad, man. But it's for the greater good. Okay? Because I don't want more games like this, but if you like the game, that's fine. But you're not allowed to be loud and proud about you liking a game. Because that was his argument. That was his argument the entire day.
Anyway, so that was the podcast, and then we jumped into Mouse PI for Hire, and to be honest, it was a great session. We did a lot more.
Okay.
Double barrel shotgun, which is like,
it's kind of funny. Every time we talk about this game, in some ways, he kind of gives that a backhanded compliment, because he starts out like, I didn't expect it to be good, and then it was good, and then like it's like, well, I mean, I was pretty pragmatic to be good, and then but Mouse PI was doing pretty good. Like, he was expecting it to be dog shit.
There you have it. Stream did well. It had pretty good attendance, pretty good engagement, pretty good support. We lost some attendance by the end, but it was still good. And I have zero complaints. I'm excited to continue more next week. The late stream tonight was Pragmata continuing on. And man, it was a good stream for me playing this game. I absolutely, really am loving it.
I think
more new weapons tonight.
We
got one that's like a chargeable laser that as long as you maintain your laser shot, it does more and more damage. We got new hacking things. We got we got the new offensive mode, so every time we hack, it does like big increased damage. New enemy types. There's a new enemy type that's invisible, and you
okay.
Terra Dome the whole night. We played for 2 hours, and we're going through the Terra Dome, which is very lengthy.
Right.
All of the training mode challenges. The game has 10. We did them all now. We actually unlocked them all.
Why are we doing training mode challenges? Huh?
So now I'm going and trying to get them all, which is leading to even more gameplay and fun with the game.
The training mode doesn't seem meaningful.
So
why are we doing
loved
that?
it. And the
why
thing
are we wasting time on
the
that?
crowd that was there seemed to like it. A lot of people coming by, engaging, saying hello, asking me questions about the game. It was a good crowd. Just not a big one. Like, no lie. On YouTube, we had like 150 people, and on Kick, we had like 60. For a new release that's hot, that's a bestseller right now, it's actually selling really well, that I think is outstanding and the reviewers liked, and I can't hold audience on this game. I don't know why. But listen, the people that were there liked it, okay? We got crazy support from someone early on. I don't even think that person stuck around to watch the rest of the stream. They were there for the early stream to hang out with me. And then I think when I started playing the game,
like every whale,
it was crazy. So
they don't stick around.
Crazy support, we already did well. I didn't ask for any support all night. Seriously, I didn't. I never once asked for it. But
God, I made so much money. I didn't ask it at all. Isn't that cool? Wow, Phil, you just need $200. It'd be more impressive if you were okay with making less money and not begging like a fucking crackhead. But okay.
People still did support, so I'm happy, because some people will say something like, oh, you see, Phil only had a good stream because one guy supported.
Yeah.
Well, that may be true, but you got to realize when
true.
You see that I've already got that much support, other people probably aren't going to, and I'm not going to ask. If it hadn't happened, then I probably would have gotten more support from more of a general audience rather than like one guy. Still, there was other support.
So then why do you ask then, if that was the case? Like, this is so dumb.
It did really well, so
stupid.
The game is good. The people that were there were engaged, and the support was great. In this case, I just wish the attendance for Pragmata were greater. I don't know what to do about that, okay? So I'm off for 2 days. You will see the new highlight of my review of Crimson Desert after 20 hours go live on the channel. I hope you'll enjoy it. From what I'm to understand, it's going to be really good. The editor's doing a good job on it, okay?
They're doing a really good job.
I will be back
from what I understand.
on Saturday. On Saturday, there'll be a Level 1 podcast. There will be the continuation of Pokemon Fire Red returning to the daytime stream. People have been requesting this, saying, can it come back to day streams? Yes, it comes back to a day stream on Saturday. I hope you'll join me for that. And then Saturday night, new game. The premiere of Vampire Crawlers. This is the game in the same universe as Vampire Survivors, but unlike it being kind of like Mega Bonk, this one is more like Slay the Spire, where it's kind of a, RNG.
Okay,
And that's right up my alley at this point.
Move
okay?
on.
So, that's Saturday. Over the course of this week, we'll see the continuation. Okay? April 30th, Sorrows. It's a spiritual successor to Returnal. And on Friday, May 1st, it's time for the mega.
I want to hear if he says bye-bye.
Even though it was a short one. Next week, 7 days of streaming, all starting on Saturday. Be safe, have fun. See you Saturday. Good night, and peace out.
Okay, it says peace out. All right, that is it for this video. That was long. That was long. I did not expect this video to be this long, but here we are. So let's end it with the outro, guys. We're gonna do the low pitch outro, guys. All right, that's it. Bye.